I don't know if many of you know, I'm actually quite a big traveller. When I have the money, I'll be on a plane anywhere, anytime. My last trip was to Australia, and I went to a global crimes summit held by Glenn Gamble, who was a private investigator, who got 150 delegates from around the world together who want to fight cybercrime. He invited me to come along. I went. It was the best thing I've ever been to. But anytime I'm allowed to get on an aeroplane, I'm there. Now, one thing I have done when I turned 50, I'm now 55 years of age, I went to Bangladesh, China and India. And when I went to Bangladesh, I wanted to go to one of the ship graveyards, as they call it. However, after doing a bit of a research, there's another Kiwi traveller who actually managed to get into the complex, but he said it was extremely dangerous because the officials don't want you to go in there, they don't want photography and they don't want any publicity. And I'll remember his name. His name is Nick, intrepid traveller, and he's been to over 100 countries. Absolutely amazing Kiwi. But there I was travelling. When I went to Bangladesh, I thought I would get on top of a train, as I saw other YouTubers doing, and ride my way out of Dhaka. But getting on top of a train, you have to be incredibly fit, and there's only a week when you're actually allowed to get on top of the train and do what I saw him do. Kind of, in my head, one thing practically very hard to do. A lot of these a lot of the ship graveyards that you see around the world are heavily policed by the government because there is big money involved. However, the people working in these ship graveyards are often getting paid like $4 per day. And the minimum wage in the same country is normally $6 per day, so less than the minimum wage, which is absolutely just heartbreaking. I think the best way of doing this is just to show you a little bit of my time in Bangladesh, and I'm just making sure I press the right button while I think about it. When I put together this thumbnail for this live, I asked for a bit of help producing someone who might look like they actually worked in a shipwrecking yard. But what it came back, this was AI I used, came back with someone who could look like they're an American, looks like they were anything from 45 to 55 years of age, and the typical worker who probably might actually work overseas for maybe 5 years of his life and then get out of the industry. And also, he didn't have any cuts on his hands, and he didn't really look like he was malnourished. So then I asked it to reproduce using better techniques, and the second image we come up with is, let's just call him Hank. Hank looks like he's worked there all his life. He's probably the same age of this guy here, however, he's brought up in a different country. He's a lot more dirtier, he's covered in grease, he looks like he's had a hard life, and I thought he would be more fitting for the thumbnail. So that's what we got. When I travelled India, I met some amazing people, and it was just before COVID. In fact, after I got back, I was in China, about 800, I was in Canton, and also went to another tech capital close to the border of Hong Kong, which I can't remember the name of. And I met a lot of amazing sort of people. Now, going from India, Bangladesh, and China is completely different countries, but mass populated countries. When it comes to Dhaka, I think there was 20 million people living in a city the same size as the city I live in, and we have 400,000 people, or maybe 500,000 people living in Christchurch, where I live. So it's certainly gram-packed. But when you walk around, people in Bangladesh are lovely. They don't push, they don't ask, they don't try to trick you, they don't seem to try to scam you, but they're one of the poorest nations. And if you're wearing any clothes at the moment, my chances are they probably are made in Bangladesh. I met a guy on a bus who took me out with his family, paid for the meal and everything, and he was actually working in a clothing factory as one of the top people. Real nice guy. These are some of the kids that you'll just meet playing around the streets. And this particular photo, I can't see on the ground, but there's a lot of clothing scraps literally on the ground that you walk on, because that was the sewing area of the city. These people here invited me in. for a cup of tea, and you can see the dog staring down another dog, but I'm the only white guy traveller that I saw in my 8 to 10 days that I was in Bangladesh, and everywhere I went I was welcomed and I was treated like a celebrity, and I really would recommend going there. This was on the motorways where the buses would slow down to pick up people on the move, and in between two buses here's two guys, and their job is to grab people and chuck them on the bus as they go past so they don't get ran over. Just standing on the side of the road, I stood there with my wee camera. I'm a street photographer, and I took photos of people where I could, and it was just the most, it was mayhem, but obviously I caught some nice photos along the way. I always walk down the railway lines. Not a good idea if you're wearing bare feet, but if you're wearing jandals, it's a good idea. And you would see, children out here. Now, Bangladesh is known as a country that recycles everything, not just to make a living, but they also clean up most of the planet's rubbish, which is amazing. So you'd find bags of plastic bottles or wires, and they get the copper out of things. They'll burn the rubber off copper, and they breathe in all those fumes. There's some guys guarding the chickens that they'll sell. That's not a picture, obviously. This was quite good. I'm not sure of the next one. Yes. So I was trying to be inconspicuous. Now, in the forefront here, there's actually men. They're actually policemen. And there's a village dispute going on, and somebody's yelling. And I'm just standing there listening, trying to record this on a camera. And then I got spotted by this little kid, and that was it. Before long, I actually had about 20 of the village kids around, and I finished up giving this guy a little gift that I left at New Zealand with, and it was a little car, which I haven't got handy, but I gave it to him. I said, if you can get your friends together for a photo, I'll give you this. And I gave him this little combi matchbox car that somebody had given me to make sure I had safe travels when I travelled. So that was memories for me, but the kids are absolutely lovely. The colours of the city are amazing. As I said, it's a big recycling capital of the world, and they go through the rubbish and recycle everything they can. It's just incredible what they do, but the hustle and bustle of the city is amazing. I went on this bus and I went to Cox's Bazar. Cox's Bazar is quite a touristy sort of beach. A lot of the Bangladesh people have never seen the ocean, but when they go to Cox's Bazar, they get a chance, and you can walk up and down the beach about 5 kilometres, and it's just packed with people. They're literally standing up to their waists in water wearing their clothes. This bus was doing about 60 miles an hour, overtaking on corners. We couldn't see the traffic, and here's mum and dad with their kids on the knee. It's one of my most favourite photos, and the colours are absolutely incredible. So I certainly enjoyed it, even though it is a different way of living. But these people are trying to survive, make ends meet, and they get used by the Western world, unfortunately. I'm not sure if I got all 3 of these photos. I'm not even sure if that's the first one. That could be the third one. This could be the first photo. I put them in order. So I got 3 photos for the price of 1. I got this guy seeing me go past trying to sneak a photo because I'm a street photographer. I don't want people to see me. Then the next photo was he pretended, I thought he was actually trying to pretend he smiled, and his mate, look at the colours, the time of day, and then he'd come out and posed and let me take his photo. But this is the sort of people that you'd meet and the experiences you could have in Bangladesh. Here I am in a CNG, which is what they run on, gas, or a rickshaw, or what else do they call them? A wee small motorbike taxi. So I thoroughly enjoyed that. So what we've got for you today is something a bit different, but I've got a blog and I'm going to read that to you. So that's not the most exciting. But just after lunch, when I got home this morning, I come across this video, and to my surprise, it is actually a video that was put out by, I've forgotten who it is now. It's been looked at by about 10 million people, and I think it's only about, I have to look at it now, Business Insider. They got 10 million subscribers and 4.8 million views in 2 months. But what fascinated me about this video, which I want to watch with you, it's only 18 minutes long, is the fact that they actually managed to get in there and actually film this. And I don't know how they did it, but normally there's no way in hell anybody can get into these shipwrecking yards and do any filming, because the health and safety of these yards are just insanely bad, I should say. Now, if you're in the chat room and you listen to me rave on and you want to have your 2 cents worth, please do provide a comment in the chat room. I record this live and then I might use this later as a still video. When I say still video, upload it to a different section of my website. So make sure that you are subscribed to the YouTube channel before we get started. And if you want to help support us in any which way or form, please do think about buying us a cup of coffee. I don't do this for the money. I actually normally spend most of my time going after scammers in Zoom meetings, but you're more than welcome. And as I say in all my videos, if you do subscribe, I'll clean your computer screen. Well, I'll get Sadie to do that, if you know what I mean. Thank you very much, Sadie. So she goes away. That's brilliant, isn't it? She's very, very, very good. Really appreciate that. Alrighty, so I just want to have perhaps that there. We've got rightio. So let's get started. We will play the video and see what we learn from this video.
This is where some of the largest ships in the world come to die. The Gadani yard in Pakistan. But the place is also a death trap for the hundreds of men who work to break down these rusted giants for as little as $4 a day.
तो मजबूरी की वजह से करना पड़ता है ना, जितना भी खतरनाक हो तो करना पड़ता है.
Some of these vessels are here illegally, like the cruise ship Antares Experience, which came from Greece. International laws.
Now, I actually went on a cruise ship and I feel guilty now, but I remember the captain reading out how many litres of diesel they used in the trip and also how many bottles of not COVID, what do they call that stuff? Corona. Remember they used to call, I've gotten it, COVID Corona, the coronavirus. However, I think it was like 800,000 bottles of Corona was consumed on the ship, and that was one of them. And I was a little surprised with some of the stats that I hear in this, so listen carefully. But here's a good example of a ship that shouldn't be there getting dismantled, and no one's doing anything about it.
Ban many foreign countries from dumping their toxic old ships on the beaches of developing countries for environmental reasons. Still, loopholes allow these giants to come here from China, the Middle East, and Europe through indirect routes.
Shipping companies deliberately lie to authorities. They do not disclose that their true intention is to scrap these ships in the worst possible yards located on the beaches of South Asia.
Meanwhile, most workers here come from far-off villages and have never even seen the ocean or a ship before. So why are these vessels ending up on the shores of Pakistan? And who is responsible for the safety of these underpaid workers propping up a billion-dollar recycling industry?
So what gets me about this video is the cinematography is world class. Obviously, they've had permission to go in there. I know that, is it Chittagong where I went? It probably was. I couldn't get in there. It was just impossible to get in there and get photos because I don't want anyone doing it. But, Chittagong Ship Breaking Yard. So, it amazes me that they actually got permission, but it must be the Philippines. Might have paid the people to do it, who knows.
This 85,000-ton Greek carrier supplied coal around the world. But after sailing for 21 years, the Enterprise Majuro is falling apart. At 150 feet tall and 900 feet long, this beast will take a fleet of 200 workers about 3 months to fillet for its parts. Many of them live right on the yard, like Azam Khan, who moved here from northern Pakistan.
देखो ये जीन और बलाओं का घर है, समंदर का किनारा है, तो न बाजार है इधर. Get
this, man. It says no life, no markets, or anything. So they live on site and they work. I can see a drone in the sky. Can you guys see that? In the no, you can't see me pointing. Is it there? See there? There's a drone. I think it's a drone. We'll see if it's a bird in a second when I press play. But yeah, imagine living there. And they work 6 days a week, and I think they said 12 hours a day or something like that.
ना कोई रोशनी है ना
It was a bird.
कोई कुछ भी है.
These huts belong to the boss of this ship lot, and the men live here rent-free as long as they work 6 days a week and don't go outside past 8 p.m. No one here has clean running water, and they all share a communal bathroom.
जानवरों का जिंदगी है, सेहत का ख्याल इधर नहीं रखा जाते. हमारा छोटी उम्र का तस्वीर आप देख ले परेशान हो जाएगा.
Azam bandages his shoes for extra protection.
ये हम काम करता था, पैर के ऊपर लोहा गिरा, उससे चोट लगा, काफ़ी सा चोट लगा. मैंने कहा तो सर टांग नहीं है. चेकअप किया, हड्डी बचा हुआ था, गोश्त काटा था.
Azam's main job is to break up smaller parts once they've been separated from the rods that hold the body of the ship.
इधर काम करते हुए मैंने जख्मी बंदे को भी देखा, मरते हुए भी देखा. इस इलाके में नहीं, पूरा पाकिस्तान में और काम नहीं है ना. दूसरा जगह में कोई काम होता तो कोई पागल इधर आता.
In New Zealand, we had this guy called Fred Dagg, and he was a farmer. He's sort of a bit of a, I don't know how to explain him really, a New Zealand icon. And he's got this saying, you don't know how lucky you are. And watching this sort of stuff in those working conditions, I mean, this isn't the worst working conditions, but I'm just thinking he would be able to smell imagine what that does to his lungs. Imagine working every day of your life knowing that this ain't good for you.
Gadani gets mostly cargo carriers, oil tankers, and cruise liners. Like this 1994 Carnival Fascination, which sailed around the Caribbean to Miami until its features became outdated. The ship was sold to a Chinese cruise company, which soon decided to sell it for scrap.
So think about that. They're going to tell you that these ships actually only have a lifespan of 30 years. And when they said 1995, I thought, oh, that's not that old. But that's incredible, eh? 30 years and the ship's done as a cruise liner. Probably because of the competition of the new ones. I think it's the Ovation of the Seas. I think they can take 5,000 people. But when you're on 5,000 people cruise liner, normally 1,500 of those people are actually working the ship. I think it works out that every person that's a tourist on the ship, they have, I think it's I forgot how it works, but I think you get, for every 2 travellers, you get 1 person kind of there for your every desire, so to speak, for use of better words.
To break down vessels here, workers use what's called the gravity method. They mostly let the parts fall on their own. But that's how accidents can happen, says Muhammad Ashraf, who has worked here for half his life.
मुझे पता है ये चीज़ मेरे ऊपर आएगी या खतरनाक है. जब मौत आनी है रोड पे भी जा रहे तो वो तो आनी है.
Wow, when it's your time to die, it's your time to die. Great attitude. I don't think the look in his eyes is one I want to look at again.
Tractors drag the larger parts to shore, where workers break them down. Ashraf has to take apart this entire chamber. Most ships don't make it past the age of 30. Their insides begin to rust. Many contain poisonous chemicals like asbestos, residual oil, and toxic paint. And breathing the dust can cause permanent lung damage or death. Nearly 2,000 people have been severely injured or killed on this beach since the late 1960s. But that number is likely much higher. Many workers disappear or drown under falling parts, and their deaths often don't get tracked.
An international law enacted in 1992 technically requires countries to document all toxic waste before sending their ships abroad.
Just check out these photos, though. These are incredible. Like the amount of ships that they break up. It's insane.
But experts say this is often ignored.
A lot of vessels that are reaching the shores of South Asia for breaking receive import clearance based on fake documents. These documents declare that the vessels are toxic free. Workers, when they will take these vessels apart, they will face risks they are completely unaware of.
Shipbreaking became a big business in Pakistan in the 1980s, after Europe began regulating ship waste pollution on its own shores. That's when many developed nations started sending their vessels off to countries.
Hey, Jelly Snack, nice to see you here, as always. I was thinking of giving up my job as a scam buster and go working on a shipyard for a wee while. Just don't know how much it pays yet.
With lax environmental regulations and cheap labour. The industry grew across South Asia, with yards expanding rapidly in Pakistan, India, and Bangladesh. In the late 80s and 90s, reports of accidents, poor work conditions.
Just look at the cinematography here. Look at the age of the children. I don't know if I can go back. But look at that. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people each side. Let's say 20 people on a rope, a pulley system, to go out to a boat to dismantle it. It is just insane.
Late 80s and 90s, reports of accidents, poor work.
I mean, look at that. I mean, can you imagine building a building in America or any other country, first world country, having something that people can walk out to on a ledge like that, with no rails, no safety, no nothing. I went to a house of an Olympian, actually. We were doing some photos of him just the other day, and he's building a new house, and they have bungees on where the roof's going to go before they put the roof on. So if you trip over when you're walking around the edge of the house, you fall into what looks like a trampoline. That's just a house. No safety here. I mean, where is it? Isn't it like enough's enough? I mean, how do they get away with this? Humanitarians would have a field day.
Work conditions and child labour started to come out, triggering a wave of international laws that tried to regulate the business. Nowadays, developed countries aren't technically allowed to send their ships to places that don't have the same environmental standards and labour laws. But it happens anyway. Like with the Antares experience, which came from Greece illegally. We reached out to the ship's most recent recorded owners and operators, but did not get a response. But the most common paths are legal loopholes. For example, a European shipping company could get away with sending its vessel for scrapping to Pakistan if it first sends it to another country that's allowed to export it there. Another way to get around the law is by registering a ship under countries with lax regulations known as flags of convenience.
Like the Enterprise, which was owned by a Greek company but registered under the Marshall Islands.
Now, this is actually what got me going, because a lot of these scams that I go after are registered in the Marshall Islands. And I don't know. There should be, wouldn't it just be simple not to be able to take ownership of a ship that is registered to this country, that country, and this country, like the state of Wyoming, just saying. But people who watch will know what I mean. But here you go. There's a loophole everywhere. So what drives these ships? It's money, the big world of money, the power of money, and they can just ignore the law and no one's enforcing it. And people die. It's like in a war, isn't it? I mean, we're going about the Russia and Ukraine war, people dying every day, and then you see them in these shipyards working for slave labour, people dying and not even being reported, and it just goes on. No one's willing to stop. I've written a blog about this, which we'll go through afterwards, but there are some things that you can do to make a difference.
A country known for its low taxes. Reports of the ships beached in Gadani in 2023 and 2024 show that most were registered under other flags of convenience, like Comoros, St. Kitts and Nevis, and Panama, but were usually owned by companies in China, the Middle East, and Greece.
मैं तो बोलता हूँ कि अगर जहाज भेजें माशाल्लाह हम गरीब आदमी मजदूरी करें इधर और अपना रोजी कमाएं.
Said if countries keep sending ships here, the poor, can't read the words because there's words over it,
अपने घरों में
have to do the work.
जाएं.
The poor people, like us, continue to have work. So obviously what he's insinuating is he's got a job because of it. And if they didn't have the ships, they wouldn't have work. And that's probably true, unfortunately.
44-year-old Javed Iqbal sorts the parts Ashraf cuts up. But like most here, he doesn't have a license to handle the screen. He says no one's ever asked for it.
तो यार कोई अगर यार दोस्त है किसी के ऊपर गिर गया मार गया बहुत हालात खराब हो जाते हैं.
Well, if a part were to fall off on any of my friends... Oh, I can't quite read that. I think you got it. Let's go back.
Asked for it.
तो यार कोई अगर यार दोस्त है
I missed it again. It would
किसी के ऊपर गिर गया मार गया बहुत हालात खराब हो जाते हैं इंसान के.
be an awful situation.
Javed moved here 25 years ago. He sees his wife and 3 children once a year if he can afford time off.
घर वालों को पता ही नहीं है इधर के ये काम क्या करते हैं क्या नहीं खाली वो तनख्वाह देते हैं जाके उनको. बस वो गांव के लोग हैं उनको क्या पता है जहाज इधर क्या चीज़ है ये क्रेन क्या चीज़ है.
Crane operators like Javed are among the best paid on the lot. But many workers here usually make about $4 a day.
$4 a day. Wow.
Less than the $6 minimum wage in Pakistan, which buys 2 gallons of milk there. Despite attempts to regulate the business, cheap labor and pollution are still a problem in yards across South Asia. But the Ali Aga yard in Turkey...
Look at that. I mean, it's just metal. But when she tells you there's $10 million worth of salvaging you can get out of each ship, it certainly tells you a bit more about the project, doesn't it?
Turkey says it's different, and that it's developed a recycling infrastructure designed to handle toxic waste. That's partly why it's become one of the most popular destinations for Europe's old ships. But reports show that Ali Aga is heavily polluted with toxic substances. Now there's a new law, the Hong Kong Convention, which is set to take effect in June 2025.
On paper, it aims to make more parties from the ship's own.
I love that. On paper. So technically, on paper, they've got the solution, but enforcing it will be the problem.
Owner to its flag state, to the country that recycles it, responsible for safely disposing of it. The agreement requires every arriving ship to have an inventory of its hazardous waste and a clear plan for how to handle it. Before accepting a vessel, each yard needs to submit a recycling plan to its government and provide proof that they can do this without contaminating the environment or compromising workers' safety.
That's the end of our cruise liners.
India, Bangladesh and Turkey have all signed the treaty and have begun updating their yards.
Pakistan was the last major shipbreaking country to sign the convention, and it's done little to modernize its practices.
Pakistan is one of the worst destinations for end-of-life vessels.
And
Isn't that a great photo? I mean, it's got everything in it, that. You know, the big chains, Papala, ship in the background, big sledgehammers, and he's wearing bare feet. Isn't that just incredible?
experts say the new law may not change much.
It was crafted by the shipping industry itself, and it's like putting the fox in charge of managing the chickens. If the convention will not be enforced properly and interpreted in a strict way, it will simply rubber stamp current substandard practices. It will greenwash the whole sector.
I'm going to reach out to that guy. I like what he said, though. It's like the fox being in charge of looking after the hens. It's just brilliant.
What today is illegal and unethical will suddenly become legal and okay.
And people who have worked here their whole lives worry about that too.
शुरू से जब से हम आया तकरीबन हमारा 27-28 साल हो गया, 30 साल हो गया, वही का वही है. इसमें मैंने कोई ऐसी तब्दीली नहीं देखा. मुस्तकबिल यहाँ का ये ऐसे ही चलेगा. जब पाकिस्तान ऐसी तरह होता है तो ये ऐसे ही चलेंगे.
Azam had other family members who worked here too. But in 2000...
Look at that. So that's a ship that caught fire, and she's going to tell you, I think 29 people actually died in that ship. So it tells you how many people must have been, in rabbit warrens in that ship that couldn't get out when it caught fire. Obviously it caught fire because they're using MIG welders to cut it all up and all that sort of stuff. However, if you are squirmage, I would recommend not watching the next 5 minutes.
In 2016, an old oil tanker exploded while it was getting broken down. The blast claimed the lives of at least 29 men.
Azam's relatives were among them. The explosion left another 60 people severely burned or disabled for life.
Workers we spoke with said since the incident, their employers have first aid and ambulances on standby. The closest hospital is about 6 miles away.
So often when I'm doing my scam busting, I'm often asking why people don't do more about stuff and at the top of the cliff rather than at the bottom of the cliff. But that photo there of all those ambulances actually like parking a whole lot of ambulances at the bottom of the cliff, which is quite, ironic. And we'll go back because have a look at this. So there's all the ambulances at the bottom of the cliff. And I wouldn't mind betting they don't have any people in them. But they look like they're just parked there with no one in them. They must all have a smoko shed and they're probably having a few drinks and a game of cards.
Ambulances on standby. The closest hospital is about 6 miles away. But it isn't equipped to handle serious cases.
The badly injured have to travel 1 hour to Karachi.
Check out that photo. I just love street photography, but the colours, the angles, maybe they could just open up these yards and leave them as they are, and photographers could pay to go in there and take photos, and then that would be quite a good way of getting some money back. I don't know. What is the answer to this stuff? Hey Susie, nice to see you here. Thought I'd do something different.
We couldn't reach the manager of the lot Azam Khan works on, but we spoke with the chairman of the Pakistan Shipbreakers Association. He also runs a ship lot here.
Now I want you to focus on his watch. Whether it's a fake one or a real one, they focus on his watch in a wee while. Now, he's obviously somebody in authority that has some say, and it looks like he's wearing a Rolex.
उसमें तकरीबन 21 आदमी मरे और हमने
So he's telling us that only 21 people died, not 29.
पर जो लेबर है
Now, if you work out the maths, 2010 rupees is around about $700 or $800.
उसको तकरीबन 20 से 21 लाख रुपया
That they paid out to the families of people who died on their shipping yard. And they're taking in ships and generating $10 million from salvaging the ship. And they've paid out $700 to $800 to families who have lost loved ones. Does that sound like a scam? It could be.
कंपनसेशन का दिया.
That's about $750 paid to the family of a worker who died on the job.
But activists say that families are often not notified since many workers don't.
Look at that photo. I mean, I love that photo, but look, can you imagine climbing up onto a ship with a ladder like that? Why is that not acceptable in New Zealand, Australia, America, Canada, but acceptable in India, Pakistan, or the Philippines, is it? Why?
Don't have proof of employment. Faruqi says that's not true.
रजिस्टर्ड तो हमारे
Yeah, love that. Now, is it a Rolex? What have we got? Yes, it is. So here's a guy in charge who makes decisions. He's on the board of some committee, and here he is wearing his Rolex.
पास भी रजिस्टर्ड होते
And just for the record, I can't stand Rolex watches. I think they look horrible. Just wanted to get that out. Thank you.
हैं बाकायदा तौर पर उनका आईडी जो है
Isn't that a great photo? Look at that. It's got depth and it's a picture in a picture. It's been framed beautifully.
वो हम इसका नाम के अपने पास रखते हैं और उसको पुलिस स्टेशन में उसको रजिस्टर्ड भी कराते हैं। उसकी जो फॉर्मेलिटीज़ हैं, जो गवर्नमेंट की लेबर लॉज हैं और दूसरे लॉज हैं, उसको बाकायदा तौर पर यहाँ पर हम पूरा उसको वो करते हैं।
Gadani is divided into 100.
Now, when I went to Chittagong, which sounds like I was actually only 10 k's away from the shipyard, and on Google Earth, it's actually quite interesting to see. You can see exactly what you're looking at here because that is Google Earth. But what they're actually saying is it's like real estate, and you can have your own plot of land to do your own shipwreck. So even it's commercialised, even dismantling a rust bucket ship.
132 lots. Some are owned by private landowners and others by the government, which leases the lots to private companies.
But these days, many are vacant because getting a ship to Pakistan has gotten so expensive.
For example, the folks who bought the Enterprise Majuro from its Greek owners paid about $10 million for it. Then they had to pay a 17% customs tax to the Pakistani government, and another 17% tax on all the parts of the ship that were resellable. There's also a 1% regional tax in Gadani. All this adds up to roughly $13.5 million. It's unclear if lot owners actually pay all the taxes. Many have been accused of exploiting government connections to skirt regulations. But shipyard owners say getting these vessels here ultimately helps the workers too.
जब ये जहाज नहीं होते तो ये बेचारे सारे बेरोजगार हो जाते हैं और इनके पास कोई रोजगार का
That guy's probably only 28 years of age.
कोई मुकाबला कोई वो भी नहीं है.
Once a ship is broken apart, workers salvage everything from desks and cabinets, which can be resold as wood scraps, down to the screws and cables that once held all the ship's parts together.
तो इसमें 1000 किस्म का माल होते हैं, उसका मुख्तलिफ रेट होती है। जैसा का मतलब घर में बर्तन है तो उसका अलग रेट है। रज़ाई भी
When you're paying $4 a day, you can afford to hire, salvage, recycle everything, can't you? You watch what he's actually cleaning up here, and you think, what would you do if you had a bolt like this?
सरे का अलग रेट है, दरवाजे का अलग रेट है।
Would you chip every bit of dirt of it so you could recycle the metal? And think of all the metal that's in a ship, and here they are cleaning up a bolt so it can be recycled.
In fact, up to 95% of a ship's remains can return a profit. A ship's
I hate to think what they'll do with the other 5.
steel hull is among the most prized of its parts. The manager of this ship lot can resell it to metal mills for millions of dollars. The Gadani shipyard salvages about 1.5 million tons of steel a year, accounting for 20% of all the steel Pakistan uses. It takes about 400 trucks to move just one ship's remains to their next destination. This truck is off to a factory in Lahore.
Now, just an idea, America at the moment with Donald Trump's tariffs, if he ever puts them in place, which I don't personally think he will, he wants to, have manufacturing plants in America and get Americans doing stuff, but they still have to buy their material from other countries because they don't have the minerals needed. And I have heard, so there's an opportunity for Donald Trump. He could start up their own ship salvaging yard, and he could get the metals from these yards, and then they could use it to make TVs and anything else that America needs to start manufacturing. instead of relying on other nations like China and Taiwan and Japan to make these goods. I don't know if Japan makes many stuff these days. It used to be like with technology, though. Japan used to be the forefront of technology. I went to Japan once and remember walking through a big department store right by the biggest crossing in the world. Don't know what that's called either. But that was amazing. And, that was back in 1999, actually, quite a few years ago. But there's an opportunity there to get some medals into your country, Donald, in case you're watching my video.
फिर हम खाली करते हैं ये चादर जो है ये मजदूर नहीं उठा सकते तो ये हम टेकर कर लेते हैं मजदूरों के साथ वो छोटा छोटा कर लेते हैं.
Then they sort the scrap into piles depending on the shape and type of metal. Workers cut the ship walls into rectangles to fit this slicing machine.
Now watch this and listen to how many hours a day these guys work, and look out for safety equipment, and if you can see anyone's fingers laying on the floor, you'll know why.
कोई मिल वाला जो है वो स्पेशल सरिया बना देते हैं वो जो है उसे नट काबले वगैरह.
This crew got here at 4:30 a.m. and they won't finish until 8 p.m.
4:30 a.m. and they won't finish to 8 p.m. Did you hear that? So what's that? That's 4:30 p.m. And if you round that up to 5, 13 and a half hours, 15 and a half hours a day that they work. 15 and a half hours a day.
16-hour shifts are
Okay, 16.
standard here. These links were once part of a chain used to anchor a ship. Workers have to heat.
Look at that guy. Look at the sweat. This guy could be a marathon runner in a different country. And instead he sits in front of a fire, sweating like a rapist all day long. And he's putting these metal links in here. Look what they do to them.
Heat this to over 1800 degrees Fahrenheit to make the links easier to reshape. That process emits toxic vapors,
which could permanently scar a worker's lungs.
Did you notice he had jandals on? Imagine dropping one of those on your toe, and I'm sure it's happened accidentally a few times.
At this factory, they usually repurpose about 10 to 15 tons of scrap a day, which helps reduce the nation's demand for mining new steel. Most of the repurposed metal ends up at construction sites across Pakistan, where it's used to build bridges, roads, and buildings. Every year, about 1,000 ships need to find their final resting place, where they'll get scrapped and recycled.
Azam isn't sure how
Gives me a new definition to what the word recycled actually means, just saying.
many more he'll break down within his lifetime.
But he says he knows that one day this beach will become his graveyard too.
Oh my goodness.
मुस्तकबिल ये है कि बस मौत तक ये काम करते हैं अगर अल्लाह ने चाहा तो यहाँ से नसीब बदल हो सकती है दिन तो ऐसी गुजरती है कि बच्चों माँ बाप से
I mean, there is a bright side. He does get to live by the sea, and there's a lot of millionaires out there who want a house by the sea. He just gets to share it with 5 of his mates, share the same loo, and there's no running water.
दूर महीना नहीं है 2 नहीं है 4 नहीं है साल नहीं है 2 साल नहीं है 3 साल नहीं है ना जिंदगी सारा यहाँ गुजरती है तो लाजमी बात है आदमी को अफसोस और दुख होता है.
The idea of, having a partner, building a family, leaving a legacy, doing stuff you like, driving a car, a Lamborghini. Do you think this guy gets at home at night time, gets himself on the internet and starts looking for a financial opportunity so he can invest his $4 a day so that he can make his generational wealth? Or do you think he lives day by day and is thankful for the friends that he has in his life that he won't share a scam with because he wants to keep those friends? And do you think he enjoys a good meal, a good conversation with friends? Some of the basics that these guys have to keep themselves sane is something we can all learn from. So there you go. So when I watch something like that, I think of all sorts of things, to be honest. But as I said originally, I'm not really going to think about maybe the American guy that works on an oil rig for 5 years of his life, makes enough money to buy a house and retire early. Or do we think of the Bangladeshi or Pakistan guy who was working to survive on $4 a day, sharing his room with 5 other people, 1 toilet and no running water? You know, when do these guys shower? When do these guys enjoy life and get the best out of it? So don't think that you don't have an opportunity to make something out of yourself. A lot of people that I talk to, they have lost money. One lady I'm speaking to at the moment who wants to take her own life said to me she doesn't know how to recover. She's got 3 kids. She lives in the Philippines. She put it all down on a Ponzi scheme and scam, lost a lot. And she's pleading with the people who run the Ponzi scheme, telling them her condition. She needs that money for an operation because she's got cancer. You know, I'm communicating with that lady each day and have been doing so for the last 5 or 6 days, trying to stop her from contemplating suicide because she's invested. There's some desperate people out there. Now, I don't know if you picked up on it, but when I listened to that guy on that video who said his last days will be spent doing what he does, and if his dying days come sooner, then so be it, did seem to have some sort of happiness in what he was actually doing. So maybe we can learn from people such as him to be content in what we do and how we live our lives and what impact we have in other people's lives. When I did this video, I gathered all the information I could about Ponzi schemes and scams. No, I put all the information I could together about the industry of the ships, because I've been on a cruise ship and I did enjoy my holiday, but I'd probably think twice before I did it again. But we forget in first world countries what price it takes on the rest of the world when we enjoy ourselves and our wealth by going away for what we call a well-deserved holiday. So bear with me. Let's go through this blog that I've had put together because I've listened to it a couple of times and I just wanted to share it with you guys. Here we go.
The rust-coloured truth we can't keep ignoring. I've spent the better part of the last few years exposing scams and Ponzi schemes, lifting the curtain on the greedy few who build empires on the backs of everyday people. But what I've come to realise is this: not all exploitation wears a slick suit or promises crypto returns. Sometimes, it looks like a rusted hull, beached in a developing nation, surrounded by barefoot workers earning $4 a day. There's a global industry hiding in plain sight, an industry where Western corporations dump their dying cruise liners and tankers, and where some of the world's poorest labourers are handed sledgehammers and told to tear them apart, often without safety gear, proper pay, or any recognition of their humanity. I'm talking about the business of shipbreaking.
Yeah, and thank you for your comments. I've opened a can of worms, so Old Salt Grains has said. He said, thanks for doing this. You're helping people who are at the end of their ropes. And they are. I mean, this is what we're doing. We are fighting scammers, and I'm also obviously got something a bit different for you today. But it's the world we live in, isn't it? The rich get richer and the poor get poorer. There's not a biblical bone in my body. However, that scripture does ring loud that I used to get drummed into me when I was in a religious cult myself. But that's the point of it, isn't it? The big corporate companies who make the decisions to please the shareholders are the ones that really are pulling the string. If the law changes with these disposal of cruise ships and oil tankers, then they don't look to change the way they do it. They look for a way to get around the law, which is the real shocker, isn't it?
A hidden empire of steel and silence each year, around 1,000 ships reach the end of their operational life. The vast majority, nearly 70%, are beached and dismantled in just 3 countries, Bangladesh, India, and Pakistan. These dismantling operations occur at massive shipbreaking yards like the Chittagong Ship Breaking Yard in Fauzdarhat, near Sitakunda in Bangladesh, the Alang Ship Breaking Yard in Gujarat, India, the largest in the world, and the Gadani Ship Breaking Yard in Balochistan, Pakistan.
Yeah, when I originally wrote this blog, I went back to ChatGPT and I said, come on, give me some more names of other yards that are known. Now, the Chittagong Ship Breaking Yard is definitely one that I wanted to go and visit and see. And I got to I got to the entrance, but I couldn't go any further because it was too dangerous for me. And obviously the governments didn't want recognition or any media people there. But I was surprised in that paragraph there that it says each year 1,000 ships. Now, they gave us an example of one cruise liner that they would have had to pay at least $13.5 million to actually have the right to wreck it. Now, obviously, they must make more money than that, otherwise they wouldn't be in business. But if you do the maths on 1,000 cruise ships, well, sorry, I shouldn't say that. I should say 1,000 ships. I was quite surprised later on. I asked ChatGPT to give me an guesstimation about how many cruise ships in the world. And they said about 300, which I didn't think was a lot, considering 1,000 ships get broken up a year. Now, I don't know if these stats are correct. I've only asked ChatGPT for a little bit of statistical information to make it more interesting for you guys. But who knows if it's right. But even if it's 100 ships a year, there's a lot of money in dismantling these things. And it's just the pecking order of the country you're in.
These locations span kilometres of coastline and are dotted with dismantling plots, often stretching over 10 to 15 kilometres, turning entire coastal regions into zones of metal, smoke, and sweat. Alang alone hosts over 150 active plots, handling half of the world's shipbreaking volume. Gadani, once the largest yard globally, still operates more than 130 individual plots. Chittagong, meanwhile, has carved a reputation for being one of the most dangerous and inaccessible yards for outside scrutiny.
Well, there you go. That's exactly what I had when I went there.
I tried to visit the Chittagong Ship Breaking Yard myself. I wanted to walk the beaches where ships go to die, to speak with the workers, and to understand the reality behind the sweeping drone shots and viral YouTube exposés. But access was nearly impossible. The gates were locked, cameras unwelcome, and inquiries redirected or ignored. This wasn't due to bureaucratic oversight. This was intentional secrecy. The industry's opacity isn't an accident. It's a protective shell built to hide abuse, environmental damage, and labor exploitation.
Actually, I've got to show you, because I've just managed to find a couple of those photos. But with the first one there, that wasn't Chittagong. Well, it actually could have been, actually. That was on the way. It was about 10 Ks. So I got in a rickshaw, or as they call them, a CNG, and I said, take me to the ocean. I said, take me there. And the CNG driver finished up, take me to a place where they, where tourists go in these speedboats. And these speedboats are taking people for joyrides. And while we're doing this, I've got to actually find these photos. I'll just find the photos when I went to... I think what I'll do is I actually will spend the time doing this because I think it's quite important for me to show you just what I'm trying to say, how hard it was for me to even travel. I'll just see what we've got here. Yeah, that will work. All right, so let's split to the screen. So these are just, I don't even know how to say this. This is, I'm just going to go through some of the photos you might have already seen. But these are the different shops, different markets. I met some cool people. This guy's got his eye shut while he's welding, which I don't think was very good. This was in the evening. And, I went for 48 hours without eating because I couldn't find any food. And that's the week. This is actually quite cool. This is the wee kid I was telling you about who caught my eye. And then next thing I said, get me some, get some of your mates and I'll give you a toy, which these are all out of order, I think. That there is quite funny because that's a blind guy, and I thought, oh my goodness, he's going to walk off the edge of the railway, but he stepped down and he crossed sideways across went across the railway lines. Ironically, I don't know if he's obviously can't see what he's standing in, but they don't have any toilets on the trains. Just saying, I absolutely love the people I meet. The train driver, you'd walk down a wee alleyway like this, you see those little wee kids playing. And I caught their attention and see the wee kid with the bat. So he come along and they were playing with me. And then he decided to smack my ass with the bat. And his parents came out, gave him a hell of a telling off. And I went, no, it's okay. It was all fun. He's just been cheeky. But you see this guy got all the kids together. And eventually I think I got the whole village of kids together. And that's the wee car I gave him. I carried that from... I think I went to India. I went China. Yeah, I went China, Bangladesh, India. And then I got the big kid in the back, which I didn't really want, but anyway, put him in there anyway. But just had a field day in Bangladesh. That was in Dhaka. Now that's actually gone the wrong way, so I'm just going to flick to the other way because I went the wrong way, as you do. And we should start seeing some interesting photos here. That's the city, 20 million people in Dhaka. And the ladies do a lot of the work. The power companies, if you want internet, there's where the cables all go. That's just normal. Here's the local Sparky up the ladder. That went to the goats. We've got more goats, cats. I took photos of, I tried to get ships, but these are not the ships I'm talking about. These ladies, they're having their bathing in the morning. Yeah, but I really enjoyed it. There's our iPhone shop. I used to walk into people's houses and just take photos. That was quite good. That was right next to the hotel I was staying in. The hotel was about $45 a night, and the hotel next to that was $385 a night US, but it was like a 5-star resort. And this was actually in Cox's Bazar, and this was the night markets. So I walked a long way, probably 25 k's that day. What you can see here is all the sewage in the cities just sitting there, and everyone's peeing and pooing in the streets, literally. That's why I become a vegan, just saying. But you'd see a wee Suzuki truck like that. Now that there, I got given that in China, put it on my backpack, and that was my good luck doll. And I keep getting people going, why you got a doll in your bag? Typical petrol station, rickshaws, CNGs, that's what they call them, rubbish everywhere, and that's the bus that I turned up in, and then I'm this is the time of night it was, and I turned up there, and then I had to find the city. I sat where that guy was for a wee while, and we're doing about 60 miles an hour, and he pulls out and has a look rather than, to see if there's any traffic that's coming before we overtake him. But you can sort of see a motorbike in the distance there, a petrol truck. That's my favourite photo of all time. It was pretty cool. Cracked window screen, old cars. You do wonder how they survive. Here I am in the back of the bus. We actually managed to get the whole bus singing, would you believe? But look at this. This is a petrol station for cars, and I showed you those ones already. Fish, more goats, more vehicles. This is how close you'd get to a bus going past you, Here's me in the back of a rickshaw after being at the beach. So that's the one I just tried to show you before. And in the back of a rickshaw, you feel like you're in a wee prison that moves. I walked down the railway lines until I turned up at the train station, then tried to get a ticket to the next destination, which I didn't know what it was. I had to point a picture. Buses on the motorway. Like these people are yelling out where they're going, and then when people want to get a lift, they will put their hand up. This one here, I've tried to unlock me. I love that T-shirt. I want to make that again. I think that's absolutely brilliant. Isn't that clever? But that's the motorway. And if you look carefully, there'll be a guy walking around with a stick, and he will be... this guy's got off the bus, and he's waving at people, if you want to go to wherever you want to go, come here with me. And he's probably yelling how much it's going to cost, because they all barter. But I was standing on an island just underneath a bridge, as all these buses came by. And so this guy here is a policeman or a traffic controller, and if the buses slow down, they're not allowed to stop on the motorway. So he decides it's a good idea to hit the bus. Walked up to the mirror of a bus and smashed it with a stick while I was watching him because the bus stopped. So they mean business, and these are the guys that will haul the people on. So this is typical. The bus will slow down. There's no man around it with a stick, so they all jump on, and the guy in the blue, his job is to haul as many people on as he can. So here's the guy walking up behind him with a stick. He'll be banging on there. He's yelling out. So it's absolutely incredible place to go. And I stood there for an hour, thinking, hoping to get that shot. That one there's a brilliant shot. I think he's pretty focused. And I was just using a wee Sony 6000 at the time. I now have a Sony 6400. But, I just honestly can't express, and this is the Bangladesh local transport, and they're meant to be the best buses, and these are private organisations. That lady sat there all day long getting the sugar out of sugarcane, and behind her was a person that was making the sugarcane drinks that they were selling. So there she is. Well, that's the same lady. She's stripping all the sort of bark off the sugarcane, and then they run it through a machine and they drink the sugarcane, and that's a drink. But you can see there's a policeman there. He's dressed up a bit better than the rest. Look at this. I mean, it's just ridiculous. This is a railway crossing. So all those baskets that you see on the railway lines, as soon as the train comes, they pick them all up, and then they move them to the side, and the train goes, they put it back. It's just ridiculous. But every bit of real estate is taken forward. Now, remember I told you about the clothes, what do they call it, the materials? That must have been a sewing place. So these kids have posed for me a couple of times. There it is. There's one of my favourite photos. So that's all the scraps from sewing are on the ground all around the city. Well, not the city, the suburb. And then I've got these kids who have posed and taken me. This is what it was like. You're literally walking. So this is just everyday life. We don't dump things. We just throw it out the window or what. But you'd walk around here and there would just be clothing scraps everywhere. It was just amazing. That's one of my favourite photos. And they just love playing sports, badminton, and everyone was friendly. Honestly, it was like being a celebrity when I went there. Truly, truly enjoyed it. It was amazing. Building a new motorway, people. And I didn't have no idea where I was other than following my GPS. But I walked to that station. These guys who were playing cricket, they come up to me and say good day, and then they asked me to step out of the way so they could carry on playing their cricket game. There's a special name for these people who jump on trains. They're like gypsies of some sort. But my idea was to be able to get on top of a train and drive out of Dhaka and film it. And I did see a video of a guy doing that just as I wanted to do, and he inspired me to go to Bangladesh. And would you believe, I met him in an online chat room, and he said, "Oh, you would enjoy my Netflix documentary." And I went, "Oh my God, I know you. You inspired me to go to Bangladesh." But he was the one that was on top of the train. But you get the idea. So that's Bangladesh, and these people here, they live a different lifestyle than we do. And you can sort of understand why a lot of them might actually want to invest in crypto opportunities, because they haven't got much opportunities. And they hear that, that one lotto winner person that made a lot of money. These are people I met walking down the railway lines. There's a lot of activity walking down the railway line. If you ever go travelling, just walk down the railway line and you'll meet all the villages and you'll meet all the good stuff, because it seems like all the poor people seems to live on the railway tracks, But rickshaw drivers, very common, absolutely incredible. But you get the idea. Also, I don't know if you know, right, let's go to something a bit weirder. If there's a word out, I think I can find my library, let's go, activity, projects, no, shared albums, videos. Let's see what we can find here. I think I'll be able to, maybe not, videos. Maybe I don't have videos anymore. I think I do have a few, and I wouldn't mind showing you guys. I think if I can find them on my hard drive, it'll be worthwhile doing it. Let's go A400. Images. Sounds, YouTube, DJI videos. Oh, maybe that's it. Oh my goodness, I think I found them. Okay, so let's put these over here. So I don't want to bore you guys to death, and I'm not going to show them all, but I just want to show you, that's me. Just in case you're wondering, they are planes queuing up behind us to have their go at flying. Okay, this is me leaving, I think I'm leaving, no, where I'm leaving? China maybe? Well, that would be one of the most unusual experiences I've ever had going through customs. If you're thinking of coming to Bangladesh, all the paperwork that you do and prep, throw it out the window. The trick is that when I was queuing up in the line to actually complete the paperwork, some guy who approached me in a suit with a name badge on and said, yeah, so all the preparation I did for going to Bangladesh, somebody tried to bribe me and pay them money. So I said I'd give him $10 US if he buggers off, but he did actually help me, but he wanted more than that originally, and I said no, I'll give you $10 and then bugger off. Okay, so we're going to negotiate money. So how much for 300 US? So these guys, every time you go into a different window, you get a different price. But that guy gave me a good price. And then when I went back to change it back to him, because I went and asked his colleagues for a price, he said, no, I'm not going to help you now. So it was like, oh my goodness. But changing it, the money changes, you're going to get ripped off. Wow, that's cool. They've got Uber. So I've exchanged my money and got 300 US exchanged. It didn't matter what I did really, they all had the same rate. So even though some of them offered me a better rate, but when I pulled out my $50 US notes, they wouldn't. They said, "Oh no, that rate was only if I pulled out $100 US notes." So at the end of the day, it was just a waste of time, really. So now what I'm going to do is, because it's chaotic here, is I'm going to actually walk out of the airport and then call an Uber, and that seems like the best way to get a taxi around here. So when I was in the China and I was about to... Yeah, so there's a typical hotel. Well, I'm in Dhaka and I've got my accommodation for the first night. Now I didn't actually book this accommodation, which is very naughty, but I did use it when I was coming through in customs, as I said earlier. So I just got the taxi driver to drive to the same hotel, and when I got here at 1 o'clock in the morning, I woke 3 people up, and then they charged me $3,500. About $45, I think it was. I think it is, or about 45 US dollars, which is ridiculously dear, but you kind of always got to get used to when you're travelling that your first night you're going to get a little bit shafted simply because you don't know the currency and what the market value is, especially for a tourist. But this is not the flashiest room ever. It does have an air conditioning unit, which is really nice. It had a big fan on the ceiling, which I didn't put on, but then I got really hot. I got woken up about 5 o'clock. Cold showers, mate. So we got to sleep in this morning, but so basically for 4 or 5 hours, I've been in this place. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of a look. You get a wet and a toilet, and if you do wait for 5 minutes, the hot water does come through. No toilet paper, but you do have one of these lovely buckets to wipe your bottom on, I think. Not that I used it, I jumped in the shower. Yeah, so that's too much information. So I hope that's some helpful. Alright, rickshaw driving. This is my first time on a rickshaw, and I don't know where I'm going. You actually feel like you could get squished at any time. But no worse than working in a shipyard, graveyard. They get incredibly close to the cars and they go for gaps that are minute. Like, what's this? Okay? Yeah, just train station. You know where the train, bus station, bus, yeah? Oh, I want to get out of the way. Jesus, I still remember that feeling. Oh, goodness. But yeah, I did some time lapse. But that's, I don't know what time of the morning it was, but I sort of don't like getting on transport, so I walk everywhere. But it was actually quite a big city. And you can see, look at people, this guy with the bike. It was like, oh my goodness. But yeah, it's just absolutely mayhem. So buses that stop on that road were the ones that are getting hit by sticks. Oh, there's one. I haven't actually looked at these since I come home, actually. It was 5 years ago. But the noise continuously. You know, look at the car, it's getting squished. Yeah, oh, look at this. Oh. Oh, look, honestly, I can sit here watching this sort of stuff for hours. It fascinates me. But, you know, look at that. Every time I see one, I think, oh, that's going to collide. There's probably less accidents in Bangladesh than there is anywhere else. Oh, no, it's insane. Yeah, I still remember.
Well, what can I say? I've got to find a bus and go to some city, which I'm not sure. And
I got lost quite a bit when I travelled.
Interesting to say the same. You really are putting your life in danger when you get one of these buses. Some of the footage I just got, you'd see 3 buses going down a 3-lane road, and there'd literally be half a foot between them all. So they're very good drivers, but then if you look at the buses, you can see there's actually been quite a lot of damage on the bus. So
when I used to travel, my feet used to ache every day because I used to do so much walking.
Rather than talking to the camera. So excuse me if my eyes are elsewhere. I think I just found the bus station. I'll show you.
Bus station.
But basically this is where they all park. And theoretically, now I've got to figure out how to get a ticket. So I'm pretty sure they'll take any form of money to get me on a bus, but I thought I might just go for a little bit of a wander first. Hello.
But so, this was India, you'd have every Tom, Dick and Harry coming up asking you questions.
Yeah. Never underestimate the power of going a walk around the city in the morning. And if you just keep,
I think this is where somebody
their mates turn up, then their friend turns up, everyone wants a piece of the action.
shuts up.
Hello. The difference between money and no money is basically infrastructure, isn't it? And if they don't have the money, they can't get it, you see.
Anyway. It's the military. But it was kind of like being a celebrity in those countries. Pretty ridiculous. Oh, watch this. I think I get. Don't know what she said. I don't think it was rude, but I think they were men.
The local ladies out for a morning walk.
But I had a camera on my chest as well, and every time I saw a good photo, yeah, I was getting into the habit of taking photos of traffic.
Yeah, if you can look at the bumper of the bus, needs some love. Looks like it's had some.
Look at the beat up the buses are.
A random guy just stopped me and asked me if he can take a selfie. So, like, you really do want to be famous here, you just turn up. There's no celebrity status. It's not how many likes you have here. You've just got to be a Westerner. Come visit these cities, that's all.
Oh my goodness.
Alrighty. So yeah, ironically I come from the airport and they tell me that the guy that took the selfie said that the train station is near the airport. So I need to go all the way back But that won't stop me from having a wee wander around the city and getting a good feel for it. Alright, I'll leave you to it.
Yeah. Here we go.
So I've just dropped in for a cup of local tea with my new friend here. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
And this is local tea.
So like this.
Very nice.
Bengali call him Rongcha.
Rongcha?
This called Dutcha. With sugar.
Coloring tea. Coloring tea. Did you follow all that? It's good. So I'm just going to enjoy my cup of tea.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you
Good
so much.
hospitality. Thanks, dish hospitality.
What's your dining place?
That's good. Okay, good. Ooh, it's a bit strong.
More than sugar.
Alrighty. I'm just going to run and get something. You can watch this one by yourself.
It's just nice to sit and watch other people's lives go by. I'm trying to get to the railway station, so I thought what I'd do is walk up the railway line. Everyone else is doing it. Got my 1, 2, 3. Got my little friend here. What's your name again? I told him my name was Danny. He's been asking me for some money. I don't know why, but he wants some money from me. That's okay. Very polite. Alright, I'm going to let you watch some more. Uh-oh, happens on train. 1, 2, 3. 3.
So click a
1,
button.
2, 3. When I press 3, it's meant to turn
there you
around.
go.
So that's why I'm counting. There we go. Hello. How you going? Good. Good.
Your name?
Danny.
Jenny. I'm Ibrahim.
You're
from?
New Zealand.
New Zealand.
Yeah.
Tour. Please, selfie.
Selfie? Okay, I'll just stop
Happened
this.
all the time.
I've done quite a few selfies today, but I'm going to do another one. Alright. Okay.
Selfies posing.
Oh, do again. Very good.
They're lovely people.
It wouldn't be the same unless we got a nice picture of some young people playing some cricket. It's one good thing if you're a Kiwi, you can actually say I'm from New Zealand. I'll show you
Yeah, but you get the idea. This one here was amazing. Look at the rubbish. Right? It's just incredible. You know, that's a river, well, a lake that's just full of, it's probably more of a sewage. But that was quite funny.
Yay!
That's my camera I used to travel with.
Friends that are walking me to the airport.
And I use a very similar one to the recording now. But see the people on top of the train? I wanted to do that.
On top. I want to do that.
But they, oops. They actually climb.
First train we've actually seen people on top.
They actually climb.
I want to do that.
There's a railing. So to get on the top of that train, you actually had to climb out the window onto that railing and then hoist yourself up without falling off. So I didn't think that was really for me. Yeah, quite amazing, really. And then we've got me turning up at the train station.
Well, that's exciting. Queued up with everyone else at the train station. No big drama, and I didn't actually order a ticket, but they asked me, we went away for about 20 minutes and then come back and goes, yeah, air conditioning or non-air conditioning ticket. And I said, oh, okay, air conditioning. And he said, no, not available.
Yeah, couldn't believe it. So he asked me what ticket I wanted after he returned back with my ticket, like I had a choice, and at the end of the day I only had to go peasant class.
Okay, any ticket. So I have my ticket. So I'm going to Chittagong now at 3:30. So.
And Chittagong is where that I was actually trying to go to the Ship Breaking Yard to see if I could get in there. I don't know how Nick from Intrepid Traveller, that's who he is, actually did it. But he obviously planned stuff and knew people.
Around about 20 past 11 now, so looking forward to that.
Right, more traffic. And this is the where I stood for an hour and just took photos. I just could not believe it. I mean, yeah, for a start, the buses are, I think, meant to use the inside. Well, I don't think any bus is meant to stop there. And if it does, it gets hit with a stick by the policeman. It's incredible. Crossing the road, you need to look both ways and then 3 times. I didn't miss chewing tobacco. It was worse in India, but they're all chewing tobacco.
G'day, mate. How are you? Hey? Video camera.
Video camera.
Yeah.
Look at the bikes, aren't they colourful?
Bangla janen?
1, 2, 3.
Bangla janen?
What's this?
Okay. Oh, Chi. Hello, boss. What is your name?
Danny's my name.
Jenny's.
Danny.
Jenny.
From New Zealand. Yeah.
Yeah, but construction, I still remember these as clear as day.
Hello. Awesome, man.
Look at the vegetables, they're absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And these are all sort of like in a demo site or demolition site, not a ship yard though. But if you're a vegan, you'd live happily ever after there, I'll tell you. What else we got? Oh, this is where I stood.
So what's happening here?
Yeah, watch this. This is quite funny.
The bus police are trying to keep the traffic flowing. So they hit the bus, I think, so the bus won't slow down and pick up anyone.
You reckon?
But it looks like it's
Thanks,
quite
mate.
a fun job at the same time. So let's see what happens here. See, he's telling the bus to go, and the bus isn't having a bar in it. And he goes, "Come on."
I think I've actually got a
And
photo
we're
of
going to
him
hit the guy
walking up and smashing
in
the
the door,
window.
which is quite hilarious to watch. But standing in the middle of a road with buses coming straight at you would probably be one of the most dangerous professions out there, next to king crabs, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Anyway, quite
Deadliest
comical.
catch if you're wondering what I'm talking
Always
about.
put my camera out at the wrong time.
Watch this.
I think I missed some of the good action.
The guy's whacking the side of the tuk-tuk. This is amazing.
Give a man a stick. Oh, now he's slowed down there.
Yeah,
I could just watch this traffic for hours.
I did. I sat there for an
The
hour.
ultimate people watching, isn't it? Excuse me.
Hear that cough I had? I picked it up in China,
Pretty
which
cool.
is really.
Anyway, I don't want to bore you, but to me this fascinates me. Whoa.
You do wonder where all the dents come from on the bus, but now with the guy with the stick. Do you want to buy a fish tank? Yeah. Look at this. Watch this. This is typical. Not let us stop.
Wow. That's what you do if you want to get on a bus.
Isn't that crazy?
The guy just stroked the bus before and broke the mirror. So
I missed the
it must be
fucking
fair
mirror.
game. If you're a bus driver and you want to pick up passengers, you disobey the authorities until you get hit by a stick. And one of the guys that was trying to get on the bus, the guy went to hit him with a stick. So it must be the don't do. So
There we go.
they get their
Look at this.
exercise. One and one more. Now these guys with a stick. So everyone's getting a bit of a workout. So they might do this instead of having a gym.
Good reasoning.
Absolutely fascinating, all the same.
Don't run over the guy with the stick walking down the middle of the motorway. Here he is.
I think this is the head honcho here.
He broke the window.
The man with the stick.
I don't know about you, but I wouldn't be walking down the motorway with a stick with my back to them after smashing their windows.
Oh, now she's going to get on, and I can guarantee that bus is going to get whacked.
Yeah, here we go.
Obviously, it's slowing up the traffic. But this is the one that really gets me. This guy in a rickshaw is
Look at
basically
this.
peddling
Check out this
his
guy
life.
coming down here. This is real
Right
hard
up his ass.
Look
His
at
bus.
this. He's going as fast as he can.
He's really keen.
Oh my
gonna get
god,
run
I
over.
remember those days. Crazy.
I've got to stop filming traffic. Can't drive you
I
guys
know, it's
crazy.
addictive. Honestly, I just couldn't sit. I sat there all day long.
Every time I turn the camera off, something happens. I'm like, oh, I wish I got that on film.
Yeah, I got heaps.
So this is going to be a goodie.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3. And this is the public transport. This is the Bangladesh transport.
Jesus. Mayhem.
Oh my goodness. I'm glad I've got these. And I kind of like separately documented them now in this video. In case I lose my computer one day, I'll be on YouTube. There's the lady, you can hardly recognise her. You sick of looking at traffic yet? Yeah, but obviously I don't know. Well, I suppose the names on the front of the bus are actually telling them where they're going, or the guy yelling out must be saying where they're going. If you're a Bangladesh person and you're watching this, I'd love to know some of the things they're actually yelling out. I think it must be location and how much, maybe? Yeah.
Come catch a bus with me in Bangladesh. This is probably the most amazing subway system in the world.
That's my David Edinburgh scene.
Check out this. Have a look around. 18 million people.
I thought it was 20.
And it's only 2:15.
So it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Absolutely amazing.
Oh, is that right? 1,000 times more civilized than New York City. I know.
Look how the buses.
Look at the bus. It's this beat up, cracked window screen. Yeah. I didn't feel like anyone was going to steal my gear or anything.
Nothing unusual to see here. Just a typical Wednesday afternoon. Now watch this. The tuk-tuks trying to negotiate their way into the traffic. They literally have no fear.
Here we go.
And then there's a lady who decides to walk in between them.
Oh, here we go. You watch them at the very back. I'd love to know how many people get squished in rickshaws. Or CNGs as they call them. And look, bang! No. Total mayhem. I still, even to this day, I could stay there for the rest of my life, I reckon. Now, I took photos of some of these ladies. Some of them are not impressed.
Hello. Everyone's really friendly. They're lovely.
I'm waving at them as well, by the way. Look at this guy. Yeah, absolutely fun. I loved it. Bangladesh, I'll go back there anytime. As long as you can find a place to stay each night, and I didn't plan my travel. So at this time on the Wednesday, I had no idea where I was going to stay or where I was going to go.
It's a very hard country to travel, hard to get food. There is some accommodation that's nice, but I've been on this ledge here watching people get on the bus for the last hour. I would have taken probably excess of, I don't know, 300 or 400 photos, and I just can't get enough. And I've just got some awesome shots, which I'm hoping that I can be able to use, and you can get an idea what it's all like. So I'm just going to give you another minute, because I'm sure you've seen enough traffic from Bangladesh, but it just amazes me. Here we go.
Yeah.
And basically, if you want to get on the bus is not allowed to stop.
Alright, enough buses. Maybe some more.
I love it. It's a awesome country, mate.
Yeah, and that I can't help myself, but that was just day one, guys. Day two in Bangladesh, I'm on a train, travelling, more tuk-tuks, rickshaws. Now this is about 8 o'clock at night. I'd have found a band playing. I just walked in there like I owned it without paying for a ticket. But I think it was actually a concert. I thought it might have been a famous band. It could be my moment. More rickshaws.
So here I am. I'm on a bus. The biggest bus. Going to which is the biggest beach. The longest beach.
Can't read much. No, this is me on the way to. Originally, I was showing you these because I was trying to get to Chittagong to see the boat wrecking yards, and this is as far as I got. But even getting there was 45 minutes on a rickshaw, and it was very, very. I felt quite vulnerable.
That's good. Good for filming. So here I am. I've got some new friends. So CNG. Where is this? And were these here? Are they old boats, ships? How do you go and what do they do with them? No one knows. Help me. Alright, don't know where the hell I am, but here I am somewhere in Bangladesh with a whole lot of ships, and we were actually meant to go to the boat station, so I finished up now. I'm actually
So I actually got in the rickshaw and told him to take me to Chittagong Ship Breaking Yard, and he went ocean, and I went yes, and then he finished up here. So these are the ships I think that could be on the way to Chittagong where they have the boat wrecking yard. But this is as close as I got to being a journalist on the road, and I've been to 35 countries, and harder and rougher the better for me. But look at the ships that are all parked up there. Doesn't make sense. But they're not big ships, they're only small ones. But that coastline that went up there was actually Chittagong, where they do the wrecking of all the ships. But as I said, it was too dangerous. So, donkey. There was my new best friend standing in the centre.
They're actually taking people for joyrides around the ships, so they can have a look at the ships. But I could be wrong, and I think this is CNG, and I think that over that area is actually where they do dismantle boats. So what I'd like to do is go into the village and have a look at some of the markets where they...
Yeah, so we tried to find some markets.
Here I am in Chittagong, I hope I'm saying that right, and it's official. Men are absolutely disgusting.
Oh dear.
I don't know what it is with their bodily fluids, but they can't seem to keep them in their bodies, which is a bit sad really.
It's a chewing tobacco,
go
spitting.
Past, there'll be somebody pissing in the street, or you feel like somebody's shit themselves, literally. So it's great. So not really. And then the spitting is just not that nice. So you sort of get used to that. Well, you don't get used to it, but certainly wouldn't want to be a what do you call it? A shoe polish guy. I think you'd have the worst profession of the whole lot. Anyway, so I'm here safely, and is finished up at a bit of a rock concert, and then I got out of there pretty quick because I started to become a feature. And yeah, anyway, all right. So I'll see you soon.
Yeah, trying to be inconspicuous when you travel is actually really, really hard work. This is the bus that I sat in the front of, and this is not for the faint-hearted, as they say, but when these buses get going, you will think, nah, they're not going to do that, and they were. Oh, that's actually me on the rickshaw thinking I'm going to Chittagong. But yeah, I was looking for ships that have washed up. But no luck, no joy, couldn't find my ships, couldn't use my camera. I'm actually literally got the camera hanging out the wired frame rickshaws, hoping that they are what I think they are. But here we go. Look at the filming. Good filming there, Daddy. Just traffic everywhere. I just still can't get over it. Sometimes I pinch myself because I think, am I really doing this? And look, you think he's not going to make it, but if there's a small gap, they just tune into where they want to go. It's like a jigsaw puzzle game. I don't know why they toot. It's like if they toot, the guys go, oh sorry, I didn't realise I was blocking the road. Taxi! Taxi! You know, in between all that traffic, there's a guy walking down the road. Oh no, he's on the cycling there. Milk trucks, maybe? I don't know. It just goes on and on and on. And here I am, like, at the time, 50-year-old guy, decided to get back into his travelling and go to China, Bangladesh and India. There we go. Whoop. Oh, we'll go this way, it says. Now we're going to get on the motorway. I think this is actually going to be interesting. Because this thing, I don't think this thing got up to 60 k's, let alone 50 miles an hour. But we'll have a look. Didn't go very well up hills. It just doesn't feel right. Being in a little wee three-wheeler motorbike trying to go up a hill. Oh my goodness.
Well, managed to find accommodation, walked around the whole town, and then I got a rickshaw all the way back to where I started. That was clever. Quite a lot walking around, a bit dehydrated and got a bit of a headache, so probably pushed it a bit far today. So I might stay here for a couple of days and get my legs, which are in order. So anyway, I paid $2,000 tonight, so just about half the price I paid, and the room's far better. It's even got toilet paper. And it's air conditioned, and if you have a look around.
So I think there's about $25, $30 a night US.
$2,000 in Chittagong, and it's even got a bath, which I wouldn't dare. But
and I couldn't get the hot water going, so cold showers or no showers.
So that's what you get for 2,000 their money, which is if you break that back down to probably about $25-30 US. All right.
Yeah, so that was day 3, and we might as well. We didn't come this far to only come this far, but day 4. Okay, it looks like more chipmunks. Oh my goodness, wee-ha! Look at it, it's like suicide. Oh my god, it's like playing Frogget. Been on the roads. Yep, rickshaws. When I was in China, all their rickshaws are battery powered. And when I was in Bangladesh, they had a few bikes like the one in front of us now, and it literally had a power pack on it and a cog on it that turned the world, so it was semi-electric. Quite amazing. In India, well, they had most of India had pretty good stuff, but it was interesting watching Bangladesh people trying to adapt their pedal-powered bike into some electric sort of bike. Yeah. The guy's dying of whatever. Let's listen to him. So he would take shortcuts just like a normal taxi driver would throughout the city. Had no idea, but if you look at him in the rear vision mirror, it looks like he's just about going to die. He probably literally had COVID at the time. Who would know? So this was 2 weeks before the world knew it had COVID. I wouldn't mind betting, some of these people were sick and they didn't know it. But yeah, filming this stuff was just retarded. Oh my god, look, they're going the wrong way. So see that bus on the left? I thought, oh, that looks nice. So I stopped there and got on that bus. And then they took my bus ticket and transferred me onto a different bus. So this is the bus station where I was going to get on and start travelling. But trying to find and talk to somebody when you wanted to get on a bus was a waste of time. So I got my bus ticket and then I went through one of the local markets to give you an idea.
In Chittagong. Just got myself a ticket to Dhaka. And
I'm happy to get down for copyright.
So I found on the map a thing called a shopping mall complex. And this is it.
There you go.
It's very good.
Microwaves.
So one that a lot of the
kitchen utensils.
I'm trying to be inconspicuous. I've had to push a couple of people away who keep begging me for money.
That was the only time I ever felt vulnerable there, was a couple of young people wouldn't leave me alone.
Maybe because we're near an area where people spend money.
In the prayer music every day?
That they pray 5 times a day. And the guy says only 10 or 15 minutes. And I thought, oh, right. And I'm thinking, imagine if a Kiwi took that much time out of their day.
See, the girl that was in front of me there was noticing I was filming, so you just try to get away from it.
Reflection.
It's just easier sometimes. They sort of wonder what you're doing and don't realise that
be able to say
they stop you from filming, and then you walk 2 minutes down the road and there's somebody else that wants to have a conversation with you.
The bus driver will stop.
So the idea of walking through there and being a videographer or a vlogger is very hard because everyone either hates you or loves you.
As I said, they do that 5 times a day. But this is a pretty cool market. I'm really glad that I went for a bit of a wander.
And I think I finished up at a coffee place, like a Starbucks.
People though really are, and their world is full of colour.
Anyway,
stand in my way and wouldn't move until I gave the money, so I pushed them out of the way. And then a couple of young girls who looked like they were about 15 spoke to me in really good English and told me to come down and have a look at the markets in perfect English. So it was really cool.
He's having a baby, that boy.
Hello, my friend. Video. Not my size. Very good.
So they're about $2.50, whatever he was saying, those t-shirts.
How you doing? Very good, thank you. New Zealand, the Kiwi. We're no good at playing cricket.
Bangladesh and New Zealand have a cricket game quite often.
Hello.
Anyway, that's the markets, and then I walked around the streets.
Slow panorama shot.
I had no idea where I were. But I actually stumbled across the flash side of Bangladesh near the end of my travels.
You might be able to hear a plane flying overhead. Well, would you believe I found a flash area?
Oh, here we go.
Lots of cars, not many CNGs around, and but I think I walked past about 25, 35 banks, and that seems to be all the wealthy places. So, and looking on the map, it looks like I'm on an island. So, wherever I figure out where I am, I'll let you know. But I'm still walking to the airport. I'll probably have to yield pretty soon, and you can't video. Oh look, there's a guy. Hi. Hi. You're playing cricket? Good man. I'm doing a video. It's all right. All right. So yeah. So that's the street down there. Normal roads. So there you go. Who would know? Whoops. Who would know? Come back here, you. This camera's got a mind of its own. All right. See you later.
This is funny because you're not allowed to actually use a video camera in customs, but you watch this.
They want you to take your shoes off, your belt off, take out all your electronics out of your bag, separate them all, and then it will go through their high security system. Now this is the third lot of security that I've actually seen.
Yeah, so even though it was pretty secure, oh, that must be at a sink. I don't know what that one's about. Welcome to Bangladesh.
If you're coming to Bangladesh, and this is the arrival area.
Yeah,
and
so
I
that's
come up here,
when
there's
all my
queues and
paperwork.
queues of people, but
So
obviously
right there
no
was where
flight
I
here
had
at the
to fill
moment.
out all the immigration paperwork.
So the process
but I
is
got
there'll be
beaten
somebody
by
who comes up and
scammers
accosts you and tries
who
to
tried to do my paperwork for
help
me
you
if I
like
paid
a
them.
helper, but they want money. And normally the guys
'cause I'm
behind
on the
the
way out.
counter are in on the deal. 'Cause
So that was interesting. David Edinburgh style. Oop. I think I needed a shave there. Trying to enjoy the moment. I probably went to the wrong airport though. Speechless. Alright, so duty free.
Lots of duty free, lots of seats to wait at.
Yep, intercom system sounds like a human voice for a reason.
The reason why people don't know to go to the gate is because they only put the gates up.
Now,
halfway
read the
before you
sign.
leave.
This is why I've got the crypto Ponzi scheme Avenger. But if you, oh no. Don't know what happened there. I must have got these videos mixed up. They're not by timeline.
So you got lots of immigration to have a look around at.
Yeah, I think I was on. I must have gone through the entry of the airport, and then I had to wait for an hour and a half for my flight. Not very exciting.
Just going to take you for a walk past and going through the scanners, which is a bit of a laugh. And if you notice that everyone is actually taking their shoes off, which I think
Notice it says no video cameras.
ridiculous. So there's a lovely odour of fresh shoes and stuff. Alright, I'm going to go and have a look in the other immigration area.
Alright, this is funny. So do not try this at home, kids.
Jeez, man, I've been waiting here for quite a long time. I kind of wonder how they actually check in everyone in the plane before the plane corrodes and rusts and the wheels fall. Just curious.
I know, I think we must be getting near the end, and that's my Bangladesh videos. Well, thanks for letting me share that with you. I've been meaning to put these all together as a video and then put it online, but nothing like a bit of commentary along the way and a purpose. So,
Just so
now
I'm
watch
clear,
this.
You want me,
This is why I get in
you
trouble.
want me to, So you want me to give you some money so I don't need to queue? That's what you said. So this is my friend here who just asked me for $10 US so I don't have to queue like all these other people. Do you think it's fair? Do you think it's fair charging people to jump the queue? No. But you did. You wanted $10 off me to jump the queue. Is that good? No, you did. You said $10. Yes, you did. No, you did. You did. No. So where do I queue?
No, sir.
Where do I queue to get in?
No.
Yeah.
Sir, gate down 6. Foreigners gate 6.
Here comes his boss.
I don't mind queuing, but I don't like being asked for money to jump the
No,
queue.
no.
He did.
No, sir.
He did. $10. He asked for $10.
Gate 6 free, sir.
6. So I'll go 6.
Foreigners gate
Gate 6. Oh, thank you very much. That's really nice. That's really nice. For a minute there, I thought that you were asking me for money.
No.
Oh, you were. I'm pretty sure you said $10.
No.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the first bit of that's how you deal with them anyway.
I think he had a gun as well, that guy, because he was the military, and he said, if you pay me $10, I'll help you jump the queue. But that was pretty ballsy and probably a wee bit stupid, but I thought it was quite funny.
Still reckon this is one of the dumbest airports ever. So corrupt. I had to laugh when I put the guy on video who just asked me for money, and they keep talking louder and louder. So I'm sort of looking for an opportunity now for somebody to actually give me some, offer me some of their help for money so I can bust them at it. I don't know, it's going to get me in trouble, but give it a go anyhow, I say.
Yeah, the funny thing is, I've been travelling for 4 days, even though I thought I was there longer, but I probably were. But it's such a hard country to travel, and you can actually, now I'm looking back, you can see I'm actually quite tired and exhausted.
Well, back in Dhaka, which I'm quite pleased about. I was around for about 2 hours again, and I found a bit of accommodation, which is quite unique. It's my cheapest accommodation yet.
It had a hole in the window with mosquitoes.
I've got me in the mirror there, hello. I've got a TV, got my fan, and I've got my single bed, and here, my shower and toilet, except there's a window with no glass in it, which I'm sure is going to give mosquitoes to me again, because I got bitten last time I was in darker. So I'm going to keep that door shut.
Oh, what else have we got? Oh, the coffee.
Honest, this is really exhausting, and but I found a coffee shop. I'll show you in a minute.
Oh, no, this is good.
So not every Kiwi wants to sit at the front of the bus when in Bangladesh, but why not if you get away with it?
The guy.
I don't want to distract you. He's very good at driving. Have a look at where I'm going.
Yeah, check this out, man. This is what the roads are like. He's probably not quite doing 60 miles an hour, but when he gets going...
Traffic is about 100% less than it was a few minutes ago.
Yeah, let me sit there for a couple of
I
minutes.
asked if I could sit in the front of the bus.
So with all that footage, theoretically I could put it together and do a wee documentary style video of Bangladesh, or I could learn how to be better at recording stuff to make a story. Big crack in the windscreen, don't know how that got there, I can only assume. Oh, here we go. There's no car coming around the corner, surely. No, there wasn't. He's got a cricket jersey on. I love cricket, I tell you.
Should have done this through the city.
Jesus. Oh my god. No. Alright. Oh, I don't know. He's just barreling down the road, hoping there's no cars coming. Well, they seem to think there is no cars coming. It was ridiculous. I think that was my... I must have got these mixed up. This was like Starbucks in...
Just another morning in paradise.
Oh,
Here I am in Chittagong, Bangladesh, and I'm about to start day 3 or 4 or 5. I forget what day it is. So have a look around and see where I'm staying today.
I think I mixed up these ones.
That's the train station. I haven't had a chance to ride on a train. That might be something that's going to be unattainable. And this is obviously Chittagong by the train station where I'm staying. I'm about 6 floors up in my accommodation.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, look, this was amazing. The bus driver goes down a wee narrow street to save, oh, it might not be the one, but he goes down this dirt track to save time and money. A shortcut. This is the nighttime traffic, and when you've been on the bus for 12 hours, you know, you kind of wonder how come he hasn't hit anyone yet. I won't bore you with that one. Must have turned up. Nighttime markets. Jewellery if you want it. And walking around inconspicuous with a camera on your chest and a selfie stick is quite a mission, and also not to be noticed, which just didn't really happen much. Memory lane. What else have we got?
I got myself a latte. It's a vanilla latte.
It's beautiful.
Can't wait. It's all mine. Mine.
That's pretty cool. More buses. Oh, I think you got the audio of the buses.
I walked down to the beach.
Oh, here we go.
To the ocean.
This was like...
and this is Cox's Bazaar.
This is kind of like the nightlife
And
area
it must be
of the beach.
Obviously the tourist resort for Bangladesh. I have not seen one other traveller here.
Yeah, the whole trip.
I
No
think I
other
haven't seen one other traveller
European
here since
or
I've been here yet.
white guy.
So if you're looking for a place and you want to be adventurous,
Coffee.
come and explore Bangladesh.
Yeah.
I would tell you now, it is certainly not a tourist
Whoops.
Destination. It's a hard country to travel. Transportation is normally by a bus, and there will be 3 or 4 or... Well, I made it to Cox's Bazaar safely, as you do.
All right, so in the morning, I must, I don't know if I've got them, but I was trying to, originally I was trying to show you, oh my God, I've got more. You guys, we won't spend too long. Oh, we have to, because I've seen footage of these kids jumping in this river and swimming across it, taking joy rides from ships that go under the bridge. So you eventually see a big ship. Typical.
Good morning. I'm in Jessmore. Now I'm saying that wrong because the locals keep looking at
Nothing
me.
wrong with me saying it wrong.
I assume a place name with name J-E-S-S Moore would be called Jessmore, but it's not. It's something similar. And it's one major town from the biggest rainforest in the world.
Yeah, that's right. I decided to try to get to the rainforest, then I couldn't get for a ride on top of the tank and train. I thought I'd try to get myself to a rainforest.
Which does sound kind of exciting, but I'm sort of limited my time because I've got to get to India, which, if you haven't been watching the news, there's a lot of strife because I've changed the immigration laws
and 25 people just got killed in a riot.
So,
and I went to a riot in India 2 weeks after that happened, and the police chief was going to be there. But anyway, look at this. This is just sort of like the typical day going past. And if you look at the concrete wall on the bottom left, normally that's where people piss. Photo, I think. Must be a photo. It is a photo. You're going to watch me get the whole bus singing.
A city that's called Noapara. And we're just on the way into the rainforest. And hopefully the bus driver will start pulling out into this traffic, and I'll show you what it's like travelling in Bangladesh.
Alrighty. To some slow ones. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Every time I look at these photos, I just want to get back and travel. COVID obviously upset a lot of our travelling. But see the two guys in the bottom right hand? They're sitting there either weeing or pooing.
This is just outside the market.
It's like the local toilet.
No pass, I couldn't help myself, so
I hate to think. But I think I'm about to meet some young friends who sort of accosted me and said, what's happening?
It's about impossible to get a moment here by yourself, so you can do a video to show you back home where you are.
Oh my God.
So this is my 5th attempt, and I'm going to turn the camera around so you can see the bridge that I'm on by the river in Dhaka. Here we go.
Yeah. And this river was something I saw on the internet before I went to Bangladesh, and it's something I wanted to capture, and I did it.
They're all parked up, and they just take hundreds of people. I don't know where. I'll probably find out.
Yeah.
And those little wee boats that you see.
So I actually went across those. Oh yeah.
My friends I found on the bridge by doing the filming. What's this guy? Undercover. Gangster. Yeah. It's alright. It's good to see you. Anyway, there's another pickpocket in my bag. Or might be. Alright, anyway.
Yeah. So he's just walking down there. Notice I'm the only travelling guy. Only travelling guy in the world. No, to be frank, it was absolutely insane travelling.
And of course, about dropping my camera over the bridge to the other side.
So I went on one of those boats. I think I've actually got a film of that.
Not so much action on this side.
But it cost about $5 to get someone to take you across the bridge.
There you go. Hello, how are you?
Very good.
New Zealand. Yeah.
Where are you? Where are you? Where are you?
There you go. How's that?
You got a smile on your face, you can get away with murder.
Alright, that's probably enough of the...
Alright, that'll be the hotel.
Jessmore. I've got the camera out.
What have we got?
Hello, Lydia, save me. Save me. What am I doing here? Not that bad. Road, there's road.
Huh.
There's two.
My zone.
So if you come into...
Done that one.
Good morning.
Done that one.
Don't know if you'll be able to capture this, but this isn't the worst of it, unfortunately.
Huh? We'll laugh. What did we get up to there? Goodness me, we're only up to... Oh, day 7's only got a few.
Good morning.
What have we got? Oh, yeah, so that's Dhaka, I think. I'm in Dhaka. 20 million people, I think, in the city. More city. More traffic jams. Obviously, rickshaws must go on the left-hand side as they go through the city. Motorbikes can do whatever they like. I don't think you'd be driving your Ferrari and Lamborghini that you made from crypto down there. And day 8, one video. Here we go. That's my final one.
My take on... Where am I? Forget now. Bangladesh. Well, it's pretty cool. Definitely pretty hard to travel. Always something going on. So I've got my flight booked. I'm leaving, going to be at the airport 3 hours before international departure for a 30-minute flight. And yeah, all in all, quite enjoyed it. Very tiring country to travel. Everyone's your best friend. I just managed to take a whole lot of really awesome photos of kids. I run a business networking company, and one of my members gave me this little wee matchbox car to give away at the right moment, and I've been looking for an opportunity, and I really wanted to give it away before I went to India, because I've been there before. And I walked down a couple of alleys and there's a few kids playing, and started taking a few sneaky photos as you do. And then the next thing is 2 kids turned into about 15 kids. There was a big argument with the police there of a guy, and I was trying to film it. Anyway, what happened was the kids all got around the police car and finished up taking a whole lot of photos, and the whole experience was quite good. I even think it helped the argument the man was having with the policeman. So check out my photos. You should see a little kid holding up a brand new shiny Volkswagen van, and that worked out quite good. So yes, so I've got to come up with a way of getting another SIM card, because I've filmed so much over here. If you're into like vlogging or you're into photography.
Whoops, wrong shot. Well, I think you get the general idea of that one. But that was me hoping to put together a video about my travels to Bangladesh, but I never got around to it. It was 5 years ago. That's the photo I was talking about, the wee kid holding up the wee convy van I got given by somebody in my business networking company. But look, honestly, Bangladesh is the most amazing country that I've travelled. And I've been to Vietnam, and they're all lovely people. And are we exploiting these people? And if we are, how do we fix it? How do we make these absolutely lovely people safer? How do we give them a better life? Do we want to have this guy looking like this when he's probably only 50 years of age? Or if he was an American working class man, he'd probably look like this. And this guy looks like, this is ChatGPT being told to create me a worker that works hard for a living. There's a massive difference between this guy and this guy. Working class, Bangladesh, American style. Do we care? Do we really want to make a difference? So let me finish my blog and get rid of this video. I hope you've enjoyed it so far.
I tried to visit the Chittagong Ship Breaking Yard myself. I wanted to walk the beaches where ships go to die, to speak with the workers, and to understand the reality behind the sweeping drone shots and viral YouTube exposés. But access was nearly impossible. The gates were locked, cameras unwelcome, and inquiries redirected or ignored. This wasn't due to bureaucratic oversight, this was intentional secrecy. The industry's opacity isn't an accident. It's a protective shell built to hide abuse, environmental damage, and labor exploitation.
Now, I can work my life trying to change the world, or I can simply expose people who are doing things that aren't ethical, and let the public be vigilantes and make the difference. I'm basically saying to people, you know, nothing's going to change because money rules the world, but we can expose these people and use disruption.
Across these yards, tens of thousands of workers toil daily. Many are migrant labourers, some are children, most are unprotected. They arrive lured by the promise of steady work and a few dollars a day, only to find themselves knee-deep in toxic sludge, tearing apart 1,000-ton vessels by hand. With minimal safety standards, no proper protective equipment, and crude tools, the risk of fatal accidents is ever present.
Right. Yeah, lovely people, I just say that.
This isn't merely about low wages, it's about systemic exploitation. The global economy has created an industrial complex where entire communities are sacrificed at the altar of cheap steel and invisible labor. When a cruise ship retires, or an oil tanker is decommissioned, it doesn't quietly fade away. It's dumped in a poor country, where its final disassembly becomes the burden of those with the least power, least protection, and least voice.
That's Bangladesh.
Shipbreaking isn't just dangerous, it's deadly, and the silence surrounding it is perhaps the loudest alarm we should all be hearing.
Case studies and strategies? Tragedies? Brace yourself.
Case studies and tragedies over the years, numerous accidents have occurred at shipbreaking yards, many of which never make international headlines. The 2016 Gadani explosion, which killed at least 28 workers, is one of the rare cases that drew temporary global attention, but that tragedy is far from isolated. Fires, structural collapses, and chemical exposure, these are everyday risks in an unregulated environment. In terms of legal action, successful lawsuits are nearly non-existent. Workers and their families rarely have access to legal recourse, and the international corporations responsible for sending ships to these yards face virtually no consequences. It's a legal grey zone, and it's exploited with impunity. Cruise.
Yeah. So accountability, is it ever going to happen? No, just saying. Say it out loud, Danny. I just did.
Cruise liners. Luxury above, exploitation below. Cruise ships represent the peak of commercial leisure. Gleaming towers of indulgence packed with swimming pools, buffets, shopping malls, and thousands of passengers eager to escape the world for a few days. But beneath the polished brass and frozen daiquiris lies a darker truth. These floating cities are among the most resource-intensive, polluting, and exploitative machines in modern transport.
Yeah, they are, and I have to say I'm guilty of being on them too. If we all stop going on cruise ships, or do we come up with a way to have the cruise ships and dismantle them properly?
As of 2024, there are roughly 300 active cruise ships operating globally, with more under construction. These vessels run on heavy fuel oil, HFO, one of the dirtiest fuels in existence, emitting massive amounts of sulfur oxides, nitrogen oxides, and carbon dioxide. In a single day at sea, a cruise ship can emit as much pollution as 1 million cars.
1 day at sea. Now, 1 million cars. So that means in the city like I live of 500 cars, the whole city doubled. Running vehicles is equivalent to just one cruise ship going for 1 day. That's just uncomprehendable, isn't it, really? Oh, hey, Queen of Carmen.
And that's just the air. Cruise ships also dump untreated sewage, grey water, oily bilge, and hazardous waste into the oceans. According to a report by Friends of the Earth, one mid-sized cruise ship produces over 200,000 gallons of sewage and 1 million gallons of grey water every week. Much of this is released into the sea, legally, often near vulnerable coastlines and marine ecosystems.
Phew, yeah. I've got a mate of mine who's just been granted, he's got a grant about $750,000, and he put together a conference where it was all Asia Pacific, and he's now got I think 50 people working for him, and his job is to create awareness around marine biology. And he's like a David Attenborough sort of guy who's in charge, but he's a mate of mine. And we go running on Wednesday nights. He's often there, and he tells me what he's working on. It's actually quite neat to see people out there being vigilantes against change. He would be horrified to know he'd be horrified to watch my video.
When cruise lines are finished with these vessels, often after just 20-30 years, they quietly disappear. Many are flagged under convenient states like Panama, Bahamas, or Liberia, making ownership and accountability murky. They are then sold through shell companies, stripped of their names, and run aground on beaches in Bangladesh or India to be dismantled under brutal conditions.
Ah, you're up late. What time is it where you are, Queen Akama? So Queen Akama is a fellow YouTuber, which I must say did a awesome video a while ago. I was watching something you did. Oh, which one was it? Many videos. So you're up late, bored. I love the internet. I love what I do, and I love being able to create awareness. But, you know, we can't do everything, can we? We can't save the world. But can we? Can we make a difference? You know, do we get up in the faces of the people? Like I showed you before, the video of the guy who was theoretically telling us that only 21 people had died in that disaster, when in the video that we watched, 29 people were claimed to be dead. And now in this article, it tells us 28 workers are dead. Now, if that was in America or any other country of the world, they would not know about. They would know exactly who died. I just did a TikTok this morning, and it was, have I got my TikTok? I walked down, we had 185 people, even I don't know now, I think it might have been 187 people die in my city via an earthquake, which is absolutely incredible. I'm just seeing if I can get there without it being a pain. No, I can't. All right. 1, 2. I'm going to open that. 2. So today I published this video here. Now this is hold up. So this is what we call the Bridge of Remembrance, and every one of those chiseled names on that wall is somebody who died in the Christchurch earthquakes, which we have in my city. And we had like 1,100 buildings that needed to be destroyed after the earthquake. They all fell over. But that's my city, and that's the Avon River, and that's where we run around every Tuesday night. But, you know, it's just sad that this shit happens, to be honest. I'll just put that back to how it was, so when I go back to my blog, we'll be living the dream. There we go. So, next paragraph. I don't think we did read that one, but if we did, $4 a day. And no, we did read that one. So these people who are dismantling these ships that the rich people travel around on get $4 US a day. Imagine if we said, let's give them $40 a day. And part of the dismantling of the ships was actually overpaying the people that are risking their lives to get rid of something they don't want anymore. I mean, can we change the world like that? Can we at least give the people who dismantle these ships more money, even though we can't change it? I mean, if you're talking about $13.5 million for a cruise ship to be dismantled, why can't they put another $200,000 on board and pay the staff members that spend 3 months dismantling this one ship and pay them at least 10 times more than they're currently getting? Do you know why? Because there'll be somebody above them taking that money and not passing it down the chain. So why can't we why don't we privatise police? Why don't we have vigilantes? Instead of a policeman, you have a vigilante, and he gets paid on commission for enforcing the law. You know, why don't we just think different?
And yet, cruise brands continue to sell an image of family fun and ecological responsibility. They flaunt their green certifications and sustainability pledges, even as they dump their retired ships in countries with virtually no environmental enforcement.
Yeah, so they can just do what they like, can't they? I think Queen Akama wants
The public is rarely told the truth. Shareholders see quarterly profits. Consumers see Instagrammable vacations. Meanwhile, the real environmental cost and human suffering is hidden behind PR campaigns and offshore legal tricks.
If you go back to the start of this video, Queen Akama, there's I went through a video that has been looked at by, I think it was about 4 million people. And it just shows that these countries where they are paying $4 a day, the minimum wage for those countries is $6 a day. So not only do they get $4 a day, They get paid $2 less a day than their minimum wage, and they're doing a job that is 10 times more dangerous than anyone else.
Cruise ships aren't just part of the problem, they are monuments to global inequality, floating testaments to how far corporations will go to preserve an illusion, no matter the cost to people or planet.
Now, I used to have this sound wave thing on my sound pad, and it was, I'm sure it's still here. I'm just going to find it. Please tell me I have still got it. Boxing, buzzer, gunshots, explosion, keyboard, applause, scary, let's go. Oh, yes, I have. Listen to this. That's the elephant in the room. No one's talking about it.
The elephant in the room. Why is this industry so hard to document? Why is it so heavily policed? The answer lies in who stands to lose. Governments in these regions benefit from bribes, backdoor deals, and the economic stimulation of shipbreaking, even if it comes at a human cost. Content creators and journalists are routinely blocked, threatened, or detained. Shipbreaking is one of the few industries where transparency is seen as a threat, not a virtue.
Yeah, so here I am when I was in Bangladesh trying to get involved, go to Chittagong and go to this ship graveyard, and there was no way in hell I was going to go in there. I would seriously jeopardise my own welfare.
Is this the most dangerous job on Earth? By many metrics, yes. Workers are exposed to asbestos, lead paint, and heavy metals, diesel residue, hydrocarbons, and corrosive materials, extreme temperatures, lack of training, and explosive conditions. Respiratory illness, amputations, and early death are common. With little to no healthcare access, many workers die anonymously. There are no memorials, no reports, just silence.
It's what we heard before, isn't it? That these people often be crushed by falling debris because they use what do they call it? They use the gravity technique. That means you pull a rope from the top after you've burnt it all off and pull, and it falls with its own weight. I mean, no cranes needed. Well, so what can you do? So when I started this video, I said, what can you do if you want to make a change? Well, be honest, I don't really have a clue. And I'll even be more honest, I haven't even read the solutions. But this is what ChatGPT suggested to me.
This isn't just about outrage, it's about action. Here's how we make noise.
All right, I do believe in making noise makes a difference.
Expose the profiteers, track the shipping companies, cruise liners, and government actors involved.
Yeah, so if you're going to go book a trip on Princess Cruises, you write to Princess Cruises and ask them how many ships they have on the fleet, and I'm pretty sure they'll give you that information before your heart beats another bump. And then you say, what do you do with the old ships? And they'll say, oh, we retire them and other countries buy them. And then you ask them for the name of the last ship that they actually retired, and if you know it's over 30 years of age, you can probably guarantee it's been dismantled. So then you could ask them, where did your ship get dismantled? I mean, you can ask these questions. Whether you get the answers or whether the people that you're talking to can give them, these are the sort of questions I believe that you could start doing. Let's have a listen to the next one.
Demand supply chain transparency, especially for ship owners and cruise corporations.
Yep, they should have a certificate to where is this ship going to rest its bones. You go into I went on to one called Princess Cruises. I've forgotten which one I went on to, something royal. And we asked that very, very question, like on the side of the ship, where is this ship going to be buried? you know, what will happen to the bones of the ship once the tourists have finished?
Support investigative journalism, help those who are trying to reveal the truth.
The pressure of garments. And, like we bust scams, and so does Queen of Karma. Honestly, when I get interviewed by a media company, they do more good than any government agent that's enforcing the law. They do more research, and they stand by their research. But when it comes to, we need to put pressures, what I'm saying, supporting investigative journalism, document these things, name and shame these people, create awareness as much as you can. It may inform, some authorities what's actually going on. Accountability is something that a lot of these politicians and police companies or police agencies, whatever they call them, they have to react. I believe that the saying I use on a daily basis, every action has a reaction. So if the journalists get out there, expose it, and they go to the policeman and go, why aren't you enforcing this? And the court system demands that they do, then, this is good. It has to
Pressure governments and port authorities to implement stronger laws and enforcement.
So we'll find out.
Speak up online, social pressure does work. Share, tag, and hold influencers and brands accountable.
Yeah, so I don't normally do videos on this sort of stuff. But please do share this video. Ask these questions. Do you know anyone in the shipping community? Ask them what happened to their last ship. Send it to your friends.
This isn't activism. This is humanity.
It is. It's a cry for help.
I'm not just the crypto Ponzi scheme avenger. I'm a human being, and I believe that no one should die in silence for someone else's convenience. These workers are not disposable. They are sons, daughters, and fathers, building our modern world at unimaginable cost. Let's not let them die for our silence. Stay curious, stay critical, stay unfiltered.
Yeah. Oh, I know what I was thinking of. I'm going to show this video after this one for Karma Queen if she's going to be up for a few minutes. Look, and if you don't know who I am Danny the Heck, aka the Crypto Ponzi Scheme Avenger. And people say to me I'm self-appointed as the Crypto Ponzi Scheme Avenger. Well, that is not correct. Actually, the first time I was mentioned as the Crypto Ponzi Scheme Avenger was actually in the New York Times. They nicknamed me the Crypto Ponzi Scheme Avenger. And here's my article that I had, which you can't read unless you subscribe. But I have been featured in Bloomberg, news.com.au, which is Australia's biggest newspaper, The Guardian Australia, ABC News in Australia, Radio New Zealand, Target Times, and the Press for different things. The Press, I think it was the Press, actually, was it? Now, what fraud? Somebody actually gave me a really national warning, fixed, successful. Oh, there we go. So news.com.au profiled me as one of the leading scam busters in Australasia. Isn't that nice? So I like to think I do have some sort of authority to people who are doing things. Now, what do we want to do here, guys? Do we want our tradespeople to look healthy like this? Because this is what ChatGPT said that somebody who works in a shipyard should be dressed up like. And then I had to give it more instructions and say, well, the reality is this guy's probably the same age and he's frail. So that's pretty cool. Hey, look, what I wanted to do while I've got Queen of Karma here, you're subscribed already. Actually, I'll tell you what, though, are you sure that, have you got one of these things that pop up on your screen like I have? Boom, like that. And then you click that button. It's pretty cool, isn't it? I bet you can't do some things like this. I bet you can if you want to, but I notice your editing is really good too. I've been watching your editing style, and I think I'd love to know what you use to edit. I don't think it's iMovie. I'm guessing it's Adobe, but I personally use Final Cut Pro. But you've got some really good editing stuff. But I can do stuff on the fly, like have Sadie come up, and she'll clean my screens, or clean the computer screens of anyone that's subscribed, and then she stays under my desk. And some other things I can do on the fly. I can make it snow. It's good for Christmas time. Rain, a bit more dramatic, but not really rain-like. I can have people cheer and wave their hands up in the air, which is quite exciting. Every now and again, people think you can make money from gold, so I have gold bars. I always like those ones. And if I think it smells a bit fishy, normally what I do is I bring my mate in, and he swims around the tank trying to eat fish. Be careful, you get lots of good feeding stuff off our shipbuilder, and that's what a bottom feeder looks like, because everyone that runs a scam is a bottom feeder. Sometimes I don't know what time of day it is, so I have those ones. Movie Maker. Oh, I haven't heard of that one. Is that for Windows, is it? I don't think you're a Mac user, are you? And then we've got Dragons. That's good for the Chinese visitors I get on my channel every now and again. And my all-time favourite is Back Up the Truck, Give Me a Pile of Money. This truck is just dumping money off. There you go. So that make that disappear. So that's what I do on the fly with my channel. But what we did do, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, do check out my YouTube channel. I'm going to just shut down a few of these lovely photos that I took of Bangladesh when I was there. Honestly, if I went back, I think Bangladesh would have to be my most favourite country, just for the people and culture. People without money finding happiness. That bus there, the guys, sitting here with cruising at ridiculous speeds. They're walking past the barber guy who's got one guy waiting, one guy being shaved. You know, lovely, lovely people. So why do we exploit these people? These people made me a home in their country, and now we dump our cruise ships off in their doorstep. I mean, have we got our priorities wrong? I don't know. Do you know? Anyway, wanted to show, I did, the Queen of Karma, brace yourself, I did my first on passive video, and it was amazing. So what I normally do, this is a bit of a different show than I normally do, is I chase down scammers, and I've put this video up of all these people actually going after this guy who they believe is the Messiah, who's going to lead them to salvation. And I stumbled across this meeting.
Thank you.
Oops, hold up. We stumbled across this meeting
Thank you.
again.
I love the calmness that you do bring and the analogies that you share. I'm a bit like you sometimes. I sort of think,
He's a bloody
how can
Aussie.
people just not see that, you know, but we aren't all the same. And I want to apologize to anyone where you feel that you have been left out, because some of us move ahead or move forward with more knowledge. So I want to apologize to any of you who don't understand. And as Jean said, you know, latch on, you know, come and ask, you know, do that rather than just take all the other wrong information out there and try and sort it out in your own head. Because you're not going to be able to sort it out in your own head because you don't really know what's happening. So you go to the truth.
Hello.
I always call it the horse's mouth.
Hello.
And go to the horse's mouth. Okay, the horse's mouth tells you the truth. Okay, go directly. Don't go this path, that path. But he said and she said, but this one's saying, because all it will do is cause confusion.
Oh, you know,
okay?
I thought you would.
Be direct. Put the blinkers on. If you believe in our CEO,
You just have to believe.
if you believe in what he had to do, right, to change direction, to bring that change in, then stick with that. Do not go out here. Do not go all over the place, and do not listen to all this rubbish. And tonight we had an incident in here where it's rubbish, because all it is putting the fear in people.
Oh,
right?
I did.
Because they think they want to help us. They think they're saving us from what? We all have
Ashley?
a choice here, right? We all have a choice to be here. You all turn up to listen because you made the choice that you wanted to hear
I thought I was
what's
helping.
happening. There are a few bad apples within the apple cart.
You obviously don't have any Avengers.
And they will one day be sorry for what they did.
no.
And if they're not, then the dear Lord above will deal with them.
So is
not
it
us.
Lord you're serving or
we
Ash you're
don't
serving?
need to take on, and I know that's really hard because it does disrupt and it does cause.
Now, I don't know what God, a Ponzi scheme, and Ash has to do with this lady's life. But if you were thinking, this lady lives in Australia, she's got a plate on her wall. Now, no offence to anyone that wants to hang a plate on their wall, but she's obviously living inside her little wee circle of life to put a plate on the wall. I'm never, ever going to hang a plate on my wall. Now, I hope I don't regret saying that. One day I was going to nail up, put a plate on the wall. But anyone that has a plate nailed on their wall, you can see it behind her there, has got to have a belief in something. And this lady, we caused quite major disruption in there for a small meeting with 30 people in it. And we had the lady that we look at her like she's like a space cowboy, eyes bulging out of her head. This guy here, you could tell him that the world was orange and it was rectangle, and he would believe it if you told him. And a lot of these people here, I don't know, they just seem to blindly want to believe stuff. They don't want to listen to, you know, season or whatever. But what I did do to make it more exciting when I did this video is I think I've actually broken them. Oh, I have. So here you can see, hold up. I had a bit of fun with this one, which I'm sure you'd enjoy. If we come here, the first thing I did is on passive. So that was the on passive. Room shenanigans. Let's have a listen. Watch this.
It's all just. It's sometimes it's.
That's me banging on the keyboard, destroying their.
It's sometimes hard for me to understand when people don't see it, because it's like a neon sign in front of me. And I'm like, you can't see that. You can't see that vision. You can't. But the fact remains
I can't
that
see the
not
vision. I'm
everybody
spamming their
does.
chat
And
room.
so let's be that point of calm.
I think
in
I got
the
up to
storm,
400
that
posts.
anchor point, that floaty, that inner tube,
That floaty in the bottom
whatever
of the
it is,
toilet bowl.
and let's hold on to our brothers and sisters as we float forward.
Oh my God.
Because the river needs to move. It needs to move, and it's going to be bouncing over all sorts of things along the way that we cannot predict. We have no idea what's coming, but it's
400
going to
messages in
be
their
amazing. And I am very, very excited. And I hope that was enough on point. Oh, I do have some Bengali.
Something
Let's see
golly.
what I do.
I do have something golly.
Let's see. Let's say. Ashun amra shobai poribortanke al.
Now, I don't know what she was actually saying there, to be honest, and I don't think I picked up on it, but there used to be this thing that used to be in the Bible. I think it's Misha, Shaki Mindi, whatever, and it means Yahweh or God, and I'm not sure if she's trying to read something crazy out there like that as well. 300 times.
I hope that is let us all embrace the changes. Ashun amra notunki jebhave
This is like meaty, shaky bingo writing on the wall.
I hope that is let us accept the new as it comes. And Ashun amra duye more nongoi hoi taki.
Otherwise translated
which might be a little tough. Let's be anchors in the waves. Let's be those points of stability for people in the waves, in the flowing river of uncertainty and the unknown.
Look at the chat room, I've destroyed it.
Oh, I find the unknown very, very exciting. And I'm very thrilled, actually. I'm like a little kid waiting for the new information to come from our CEO. So let's all just hang together, hook on to somebody that is a stable force in your day to day, and we're going to get through this swimmingly.
What's this? So I don't know if you know, I used to be a Jehovah's Witness. So when I've grabbed somebody's username and called myself Jehovah and gone into a meeting and put my hand up as Jehovah in someone that's like a cult-like organization, I actually had never realized that this was so cult-like. I have never seen a scam where people are following someone like he's their savior. And that was what blew me away with this one. So I want to do more of this sort of stuff. So if you do have any links, remember, I'm not that hard to find. You just go to my website and click on Contact Us and hold your mouse over and click on Boomerang. Boomerang. Been busting that scam too long. It's called Bookmarks. And in the Bookmarks page, you'll get a form like this where you can submit Zoom meeting links. And that's what somebody did, and then I popped into here, and little did I find I'm now Jehovah.
So সেক্ষেত্রে আমরা বলবো যে আমরা নিশ্চয়ই টেকনোলজির সাথে অ্যাডপ্টেড আছি and সেই জায়গা থেকেই বলছি
And then the next thing I did, I had fun, is I turned my camera on. Look at this.
বন্ধ ওয়ান প্যাসিভ হচ্ছে না, ওয়ান প্যাসিভ সামনে এগোচ্ছে না, তা না, ওয়ান প্যাসিভের মতো করেই এগোচ্ছে। But parallelly,
it's like 5 o'clock in the morning.
আরো একটা দুটো বা পাঁচটা বিজনেস যদি ওপেন করে,
now I'm in the screen with them.
Nothing wrong, but it is our choice. আমরা ওই নতুন বিজনেসের সাথে ইনভলভ হব কি হব না, আমার টিম থাকবে কিনা, আমার সাথে কে আসবে কে আসবে না, that is different thing. But according to the market, as per the demand, যদি সেরকম কোনো প্রোডাক্ট, সেরকম কোনো বিজনেস মডেল নিয়ে আসে, that will be hot cake. So depend on you যে আপনি সেই নতুন সিস্টেমের সাথে নিজেকে ইনভলভ করবেন কি করবেন না। So nothing to worry. But our brother Colin said that he is very much excited. Really, I am also excited because we believe in Ash. We trust him and we know his intention. He is such a person. I didn't see anyone on this earth as a business owner think about
they're probably wondering who this random guy is who's turned up.
Partnership or the beneficiaries. They always try to make his best to make themselves to get maximum benefit. Though he can't do it yet, but we know the exact fact. So many obstacles he has overcome.
Whatever he says. Now, I can't wait till they keep me out. I don't think it was too long away.
And cautious to
and look, I've changed my background picture.
the information to the community because it is misleading, miscommunicated, misunderstanding,
now look at Janine, she's looking at me.
in the
Who's that guy? She says.
Social media and any
She's
other
gone
things.
cut him out.
So আমরা
now I've got Megan on the screen.
ভালো কিছু আমাদের লাইফে হতে চলেছে বাট এখানে ডিসার্টেন বা
sometimes you go a bit silly doing this.
কি বলবো মানে কোন রকম অধৈর্য হওয়ার কিছু নেই, ধৈর্য থাকতে হবে, সবকিছুর জন্য সময় লাগে, বাট আমাদের যে প্রেজেন্ট প্রফেশন, প্রেজেন্ট ওয়ার্ক, we must continue that to maintain our family, to maintain our expenditure, and we expect something new, but so that depends on my.
Now we figured out who runs the show. So that was quite good actually. Yeah, so that's my first on passive experience as such. But we do actually go after a few other scammers in here. And you can see, if you go to my lives, that's where we're recording this meeting right now, and I'll probably peel this one off. I have got a really exciting one coming up. This is Megan and Regan have decided that they have going to hide the link where you go into their meetings for their Zoom meetings because they want to hide from the crypto Ponzi scheme Avenger. However, I'm in every meeting I want to be because I've got people that don't like them. And they've got, let's say, wolves in the chicken hen. No, what do they call it? Wolves in the chicken pen eating their flock. I don't know whether that makes sense. It didn't make sense. But anyway, so I've got this meeting ready to go. So the last time we busted into Megan and Regan's meeting, they thought that they had a secret meeting and they spoke quite freely. But I recorded the meeting in their secret meeting offline. I set it up as a premiere. I had it set to go live at 4 a.m. in the morning, but I'd sent them a text hours earlier that we were going to launch a premiere, which basically gave them 15 minutes to think, do we run a meeting, knowing that Danny DeHeck will be in their private meeting. So that was quite funny. But that is friggin'... there it is, wolves in the hen house. Brilliant. Thank you very much. So, so if you want to go have a look at that one, that's just a placeholder of intimidation. So that's what I do in my live section. And you can come here and you can see videos. I've got 4 upcoming lives coming up. I try to do a live on a Friday, which will be your Friday, your Thursday night. But we had a bit of fun lately. And last not but least, let's not check out Queen of Karma. She's actually in the chat room right now as we're recording this. And check out her videos. Oh my God, you've got a new one. So, and we do have a bit of fun doing this, but there is a real serious undertone in what we're doing, is we're trying to help victims. And I think Queen of Karma, actually helped me determine that quite a lot. Because we are trying to stop the scammers, but in honest truth, stopping the scammers is just about impossible. But helping victims is not. Now, I got an email from someone today, and I'm actually going to show you what extent we go to. So if you went to my blog, so what I'm actually doing here is if you go to deheck.com, you'll see that little cup of coffee at the bottom, right? Now, some people come to me and they go, can you help me get my money back? I've been scammed. And I'll go, no, I can't help you because once you've lost your money, the scammers take it. That's the whole idea. And they said, can you give me some investment opportunities that I can invest in that are good? And I go, no, because there is no good investment opportunities. So I had a guy this morning, right? And long story short, somebody had paid me $200 to investigate whether an opportunity was good or not. Now, I'm never going to give you the green flags. I don't care if it's the local bank. I'm only going to highlight the red flags because I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not going to advise you. But someone decided to invest $320 into a scam. They had made $60 from the scam. So they've now got $380 on the app. They've paid in 320 USDT. And they thought this is too good to be true. So to test the system, the guy decided to take out $20. That $20 that the scammer released to him has given him peace of mind that it's true and genuine. This guy was working on the Gulf of Mexico in an oil rig, so he works hard and probably has a lot of money. Whatever, I don't know what he did. Anyway, he was about to put $10,000 down on this platform because they had convinced him that it's a real and genuine opportunity. If he put $10,000 down, he probably would have lost a lot. But instead, he decided to reach out to me and ask me if I'd do a review on one of these opportunities. So I did. He paid me $200. I did a good review, and I exposed the company was a rat. And I'm going to show you how that actually panned out, if I can find it. After I did that review and I showed him it was bad, he come back and said, right, now I want you to do 2 more reviews. And I said, they're all scams, mate. Save your money and just stop investing in these opportunities because you'll just keep losing your money. There's no such thing as a free lunch. If it sounds too good to be true, it's a scam, and stop looking for them. So this morning, this is the scam where I got paid $200 to do an investigation. So I've produced a blog and a video all about it. And it's a Telegram bot, which is going to go away and do day trading for you. Everyone wants to pretend they've got a real product or service, and they don't. So I come down here and I've done a whole blog about it, and then I've written about it. Now, this is how sick this company was. So we're just going to go back in time a wee bit. And I just want to give you an example of what we do in Coffee Karma. Queen of Karma is the same. We help victims come to terms with, what we're doing. So if you're reading this, you're already smarter than the average victim. This is BidGem Finance. They had set up a site that looks like the FMA. And now that site has actually come offline. Whether that was my doing, I do not know. I even want to show you it because this site was set up to give them some form of credibility as a genuine company. It was a complete rip-off of the FMA's website. Oh, damn, it's not going to bring it up. It was, I don't think I kept any images, but I just wanted to see whether this would work. Ah, beautiful. Right, so if we come here, I can actually click on this, and you won't be able to search it. Right, so this looks like the FCA website. So this company, I'm going to actually just fix this up while I'm here, edit post. This company had set up a fake FMA website where you put the license number of the company in there, and it brings up, would you believe, I'm just going to go through and update this while I'm here, FCA.org. I'm going to edit that link because that's how scammy these companies are. And that was giving you credibility that this company, so this is the real FCA website. And it takes a bit of time, but you can search and find companies who have been authenticated with the FMA. But obviously this company has set up a fake website to make it look like them, to give them peace of mind. And that's what we showed the guy. Anyway, long story short, he came back to me and he realised it was a scam and he didn't put $10,000 down. However, I went back to him just last week and said, did you take your money out altogether? And he said, yes, he did. And he got his money out. So he got his $320 back. Whether he got his $60 worth of money in there or he decided to leave it in there just in case. And I say to people, where do you think your money's coming from? So I wake up in the morning and I get an email from somebody else. And they basically come up. Here's the update I posted this morning. BidGem Finance now demands fake Norwegian taxes. Classic exit scam book playbook. So this guy had paid the taxes and then requested his money back. That means that it's called pig butchering. It means that when you've lost all your money, they want to get every bit of meat off the bone. So they've come back and now they've told him that if he pays this tax, like there's some sort of taxation department, that he will have an opportunity of getting his money out. This guy had put $500 in, paid the 22% tax on his own money that's on the platform, so that the, I think, Norwegian taxation system would release the money. Total bullshit. But they just managed to get another 22% out of him. So if he'd paid $500, he's now going to pay another $108 so he can release his own money to himself. it utterly ridiculous. Can you imagine going to the Norwegian tax department and ask them for verification that the extra money that you have just paid has actually got to the right people? So if you are somebody doing that scam, red flag number 1, it's a fake license. Red flag number 2. Red flag number 3. Red flag number 4. Red flag number 5. How many red flags do you want? What should you do? Stop giving these people your money. You know, and that's what I do. So we have done the review, saved somebody $10,000. And not only that, I had another lady ring up midstream the other day telling us that she is a community leader and she has helped a lot of people with a scam. And her scam that she was helping people with was actually called, was the same scam. It was the one I just showed you. But while I was talking to her, she said to me, I'm involved in another opportunity which is paying out. So don't do a review about them because I'm receiving money. And I go, okay, what's the name of that scam? She told me it was Golden Tech Consulting. Anyway, then I realised that this company has been rebranded a couple of times. So as I'm actually talking to her, I'm doing another review on this company. And I'm telling her, hey, do you realise this is also a scam? You're going to lose your money. No, you don't know what you're talking about because I'm receiving money. And I go, because you're receiving money doesn't mean it's not a scam. It just means that you might be higher up the pecking order than other people. So then we while I was talking to her, I think I showed her that Behind MLM had done a couple of articles on them. She didn't want to listen to it. She finished up hanging up on me. And we found out that they used to be called Beyond Infinity. And that collapsed as a Ponzi scheme. And they rebooted themselves with a new name. It just goes on and on. But what I have realised after hanging out with Queen of Karma a little bit, getting to know her well, she said we work for the victims. So my whole point of this whole video was not really about Ponzi schemes and scams, but that's my passion and that's what I feel I can help people with. It is actually helping victims. So if you are a victim and you have found that you have lost money to these Ponzi schemes and scams, and you're still trying to come to terms with the fact that there is no get rich quick, we're going to give you 1% of your money each day scam out there, and you're still thinking that you're going to throw money at these scammers and give your money away, because that's what you're doing. No matter what you think, no matter what past experience you've had, these will steal your money. They're cleverer than you. Reach out to me. I'm happy to do a review on any scam that you may be aware of. Put it on my website so you can read it. And then I've literally had 3 people ring me up this week telling me they thank me. Sorry for being so rough to me at the start, but they thank me for helping them realise it was a scam. And what we're trying to do, just like the ships that we've just looked at and the money that must be changing hands for bribery, we want people to realise that they can become an avenger. That's the people that help me fight my battles, and they can help me fight these scumbags who are profiteering from the poor people. The people that have been scammed, one lady's lost $18,000 Filipino, another couple other people that have lost, $500, $600, and they're in Nigeria. And they said, that's a lot of money for us. And I said, I know it's a lot of money. I want those people to help us fight, create awareness, stop people from exploiting each other. Work hard. If I can help you, I'm very entrepreneurial. I'm a serial entrepreneurial sort of guy. I've done lots of startups. I support myself financially by doing drop shipping. I have several drop shipping websites. I've been doing it for 6-7 years now. I now set those shops up, teach people how to do their own shops and how to market themselves. That's what I do for a living. That's how I sustain myself. And I do my YouTube channel, which gives me a few $100s a month. It does not pay the time I spend on it, but I'm passionate about helping people. And there's lots of people like Queen of Karma. She's going back to bed. Have a good night. Happy Mother's Day to anyone who has a mum. Much love to you, Danny. And that's so nice. And there's a real community of people out there who are actually able, want to help each other. So if you like this video, do give us a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you want to support me in any which way or form, buy me a cup of coffee, keeps the wolves from the door. And I do love that saying, it's the wolves in the hen house. It's brilliant. So thank you very much for Old Salt Grains. Old Salt Grains. I'm a dyslexic, so I'm having a go at that one. Certainly nice to have you in the chat room and bantering along with us. And we'll see you guys in the next video. I'm Danny DeHeck, and as I normally say, I'm Danny DeHeck, aka the Crypto Ponzi Scheme Avenger, here to name and shame anyone running or promoting a Ponzi scheme or a scam. And is the cruise line ship industry running a scam? There's the question. See you in the next video, guys.